Hello and welcome to podcast number 50! 50! We're going to be catching up on recent films and TV shows that we've watched before going over the latest film news. And then in the second part of the podcast, we're going to have a little review and discussion on Kevin Smith's Clerks III.
Ooh, yes.
And then finally, in the third part of the podcast, we will be answering your questions. So I just want to very quickly welcome in Iain and Andy.
Woohoo!
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Podcast is older than us for once.
Right.
Finally,
It's been a
Jesus
string
Christ,
of
man.
40-offs going around lately.
Oh man, yeah, just turned 40, which is quite a surprise because I never thought I'd make it past 20.
We didn't either.
Maybe
I've had him in the Deadpool, and
Like,
it's really fucking. It's
you
costing
know,
me money.
I got to 40 and I'm like, well, that's it. So everything just goes downhill from now on. You know, everything just my cholesterol goes up, my sperm
Semen
count
goes up?
My sperm count goes down. You know, I start to lose my mind. Dementia sets in. Arthritis sets in. Like,
was this a setting that you clicked or something? Like,
man, it's over time. Like,
moved your body to. I'm just gonna
I'll be
go get
honest.
old as fuck.
I'll be honest, there's been a few things this year especially that's made me go, you know what, I'm not 20 anymore. I've really got to start being careful. Not like, I'm not going to start wrapping myself in bubble wrap and just fucking, you know, stealing myself away from
Like,
work.
it's been the last hour just like.
But birthday was great. Got some really cool presents. You know, got a really great picture from the wife, the Undertaker, in my dining room. Got a really cool The Thing board game from Gary. I mean, I won't say what Andy got me. It was cash and something else. Dylan got me the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z season 1 on DVD, which I've been working my way through. I got a shit ton of John Carpenter DVDs from our boy Campbell from New Zealand.
Nice.
I've got to make my way through that. I've got far too many games. I think I'm set for the end of the year.
Nice.
And
There's not much left to go.
man, we got to see The Thing in the cinema on the big screen. 40th anniversary, fucking 4K restoration. I honestly think I am done with the cinema. Like
That's
Linda.
it. I'm never gonna top it.
Well, that's it. Linda wants to kind of go see Wakanda Forever. I mean, she wants to see it in the cinema, but at the same time, she's not really bothered like that. And I'm like, well, I'd like to take her, but personally, if it was me, I'd be like, I'm gonna get it on Disney Plus. You know, other films are gonna come out on DVD. The Thing, its 40th anniversary in 4K restoration. McCready's head was so big.
I was going to say, apart from just the experience of it, how was the 4K restoration? How was the
It
quality
was
of
sublime.
Really?
Like, I said to him
'Cause
when
I've
we
seen a
walked
couple
out,
and it's been
I've
quite-
seen this film on VHS on an old CRT TV, you know.
Absolutely.
I've seen the VHS on an HD TV. I've seen the DVD, then the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And then seeing it in 4K. You could see the set that they lived in. It felt and looked like a real location. All of the little things in the background that belong to each character. You could see the textures in their clothing. You know, piercings, tattoos.
Linda
just
said that, yeah.
all of the scenery
She'd
just
never seen
stood out
Copper
so
having
much.
a ring piercing in his nose. It's
Right.
just like, that's how... Oh,
Yeah. So obviously seeing it on that larger screen
Yeah.
and with that clarity of vision with the film print, it was fantastic. And so all the gory details just popped on that screen.
Like, okay, so for me personally, Terminator 2, right? So that whole ending where he's like, hasta la vista, baby.
I'll cry. I'll fucking...
No, it's amazing with the whole thumb. Absolutely sublime ending. On the big screen, when McCready rolls off that thing with a stick of dynamite and goes, fuck you too, and just loves. Oh my god, I could have just died there. I could have just. Yeah, it was amazing.
I said to Ian as well, I was just like, there's probably more people sat watching this film now than there was 40 years ago when it came out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
it
great.
Full House?
Full House.
Full House.
And I was
That's fucking
so
awesome.
stoked to see that. But I also said to Ian, I was like, I bet you there's no one here sat watching this that hasn't seen this before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was it.
I
I got the 3 best seats in the house that had the burst angle. I got one for Gary. Like I said to you about coming.
Yeah, I
over
had
to
a
that party
Halloween
as well.
party at Laurie, so I was going.
So then I had this spare seat, and I was just like, said to Linda, I was just like, you should come, and she was gonna go to the Halloween party, and she's like, I was just like, it's gonna be empty anyway, right next to me. I like if I take my wife with me and my friend to go see my all-time favorite movie, it'd be like the greatest thing.
It's a good day.
So going, but there was a woman down our aisle who was checking her fucking phone. When
At least 3 times.
When that fucking guy comes up on the screen and says, hey, switch off, relax, turn off your phone. Turn turn your fucking phone off. Don't fucking
Like,
pull
talking
it
to you,
out
bitch.
in the middle of a motherfucking movie. Like, oh, how long's left? What time is it? I can tell you what fucking time it is. Time is to turn your fucking phone off. No reason why I can't go to the cinema again. You know, it's just
a little worked up over it.
A little bit.
the experience is great, but when you're surrounded by a bunch of people you don't know and you're trying to watch a film and every one of them can do something because free will, yeah, thanks God. You know, it's just an experience. I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait the 2-3 months until it comes on DVD or it's on streaming.
I get it,
watch it
yeah.
at home, pause it when I can, put my subtitles on.
Yeah.
But the thing being done, yeah,
Nice.
I'm good.
Nice.
Awesome.
Andy, would you like to catch us up on?
Yeah,
on
man.
anything?
I mean, I think some of the stuff I've watched, you've got coming up in your thing, like Terrifier and Cabinet of Curiosities. What's Barbarian as well? I don't know if you
Nice.
that.
Nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
Barbarian was great.
I really enjoyed that film. Yeah, it was great. I had no reason. I think I messaged you a couple times while I was watching it, didn't I?
I think you did. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
just
that's
as
right.
long as
Just
it
long-
is.
yeah. I was like, yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know. So that's definitely one that I enjoyed
Wasn't
more.
he just
knowing...
such a great douchebag?
Oh, he's a great dickhead. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. But I definitely recommend it as one where you just don't fucking read anything about it. Or
Don't wiki
anything
it.
Like that. Don't wiki it.
Oh,
Is
wiki
what I'm
it.
basically trying to say.
It was good.
Because you'll really get a good
Remember
experience out of it.
sat in the cinema with Andy and for Halloween Ends, and the trailer for Barbarian came on, and I was like, "No, I'm out."
Oh yeah, you
I
ran,
literally
you
walked
literally
out
ran,
of the
didn't you?
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "No."
Yeah, you were like,
No
no, do you want
spoilers.
a drink? Because I'm fucking going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed it. It might have had a little bit of a dip at the end, but I still enjoyed the ending. It's just that in a way, it's like, did it have a dip at the end, or was just the fucking first 2 acts that good?
Yes, they were.
It was
Yeah, it was
hard
really good.
to fucking.
I
It
literally-
was really hard
yeah.
to end as strong as it
Yeah.
started and continued. You know, but highly recommended it. I watched The Northman as well.
Oh, I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Definitely
fucking love it.
contender for best of the year
Oh.
for
It
me.
may be, yeah. I'd like to rewatch it again. Obviously, 3 hours, so that's something I've got to
I
put
need to
aside,
see
and I
that
need to
version.
watch it. So it's it was just beautiful to look at.
I love that.
It really was.
I love
It
that
really
quote
was.
he says. I can't remember what's the. Oh, I can't
Ah,
remember
you're gonna
perfectly.
fucking die. That one.
No, it's the I
At the
am
start.
the bear wolf. I am son of King
Oh, when he's
Arthur,
doing
the
the
war
chant,
raven,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I am his vengeance. You're like fucking
Yeah.
bring it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was great. It's funny. There's a couple of scenes in it where it's just so beautifully shot. There's a point where 2 characters are talking when they're at the village, whatever you call it, and there's a volcano erupting in the background.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the scene.
Right.
They're just like Iceland.
Yeah.
You know, like fucking. It looked amazing. And the
Same
guy
guy
who
did the
played.
witch, isn't
Yes,
it? Have you
and
seen the
Lighthouse.
witch?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, in the lighthouse. I was
Yeah.
going to say, which you
Yeah.
can retell. The guy who plays the main antagonist as well is the guy who played Dracula in the BBC
Yes.
run, the Stephen Moffat one. Packer, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, really enjoyed those. Other than that, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last podcast. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I went
Because
to
it
see
wasn't live.
Yeah, I went to see Anthrax in the band, not like the terrible weapon.
Went to
yeah,
CDC, you know.
yeah, sort of like I'm going to Qatar with the rest of the England fans. But yeah, I went to see them up in Bristol. That was great, just brilliant. Just classic thrash band, just doing their fucking thing. So
Nice.
that was a really good laugh. But
I can't say I've never really been one for Anthrax. Not
Oh, I do love Anthrax.
nice.
But other than that, I've pretty much just been playing God of War Ragnarok.
How is it? I've heard the hype.
It's glorious.
Awesome.
It's glorious. However, what I will say, and I'm not going to spoil anything. To be fair, everyone is probably way further than me if you bought it on fucking release day because I've only got to find out.
Yeah.
how
No.
it's going to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
But the for a PS5 game, it is very much still a PS4 game, if that makes sense. Because now it looks great, it's beautiful, it's
Plays
you know,
good, sounds good.
It plays phenomenal. Something they desperately need on Xbox is those haptic feedback triggers, because on the PlayStation pad, like you know, there's points where like Kratos is like pulling like a massive, great big sort of like mounted fucking crossbow back to knock
Right,
him down,
yeah.
and I'm like, all right then, fine, I'll fucking pull it.
Yeah.
You know, you actually have to put some pressure on it. You know.
Okay,
so,
that's
and I
cool.
was like, the other thing I've been playing a lot is a lot of fucking Modern Warfare 2 online, and I've been, oh my god, I kind of wish I bought this on the fucking PlayStation now.
Because you want to feel the control, the
difference
trigger.
to it. But
That's cool.
God of War's it's great, but it's still very much like I'm playing it on a system with a solid state drive. Yeah, I've still got to like do the obligatory. Oh, we're going to duck under this little cave section to get to the next bit now, even though
We're
the whole game's
secretly
over.
loading in.
Now I
Yeah.
know that Santa Monica Studios have gone out and kind of said in response to that, like they kept it because they want you to have like a kind of dramatic entrance into the scene,
Yeah.
which
Sure,
I'm like
yeah.
totally. It's a very cinematic game, but part I was like, do you know what? This still doesn't quite feel like it's jumped a generation or anything like that. I mean, that's a minor quibble because it's fucking glorious.
You still got to complete it though.
Well, yeah, you're describing a game.
Right.
No, but you haven't completed it and couldn't go back.
Yeah,
you
I
might
mean,
get to the end and go,
look,
oh, man,
listen,
what the fuck?
I'm determined to complete it obviously way before we do, like, say, our top 10 of the year.
Me in
obviously
January,
it's
yeah.
gonna go- exactly. I mean, I'll have it done in the next couple of weeks, but granted, yeah, I mean, the story may tank off or something, but so far, fucking two thumbs up. It's been really good. But I've got to admit, yeah, I've been... it's hard for me to set some time aside to play it because I keep fucking playing multiplayer on Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
Completely hooked again.
Online will do that.
Oh, it's so much fucking fun though, and it's...
Now I
it's-
got confused because
it's
I'm like,
smooth
I
like
played
butter.
Modern Warfare 2, and then I'm pretty sure they re-released one of the Modern Warfares, and now
Yeah.
this is Modern Warfare 2 again. I'm like,
Yeah, so
is this
they
the
did,
third version of this
no,
game?
it's
or-
funny because I fell out of playing COD. I used to play COD back in the day all the time.
Yeah,
Definitely
right.
the Modern Warfare 1 and 2. 3
Yeah.
was great as well. But so I didn't even know they'd remade it until I bought, a few years back, I bought the PlayStation Pro.
Right.
And it came with it.
What?
And I was like,
Modern Warfare
this Modern Warfare, this new one, and it's like
okay.
a reboot.
of the first
Yeah,
one.
so you've got Price and Soap in it and everything like
Right,
that.
right.
And introduces some new characters. So then this is now the sequel to that game.
Okay.
It's got guns, Gary.
It's got
Well, I
guns
know
in
it's
it.
got guns in it.
And
But
people get shot.
if you remember...
I just missed the World War II Call of Duty games when I
be
started
fair,
playing
Alright,
them.
Granddad.
If you remember the, do you remember All Gillied Up from like?
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
a new version of that in this, and it's fun.
Okay.
It's great. So yeah, highly recommended. But yeah, basically just been doing that.
I'm not going back. After fucking Mile High Club doing
I
that.
ain't
3
going
times.
back.
I ain't going back.
I ain't going
I
back.
ain't going back, man. I got my stripes. I'm done with
the
the
only
game.
the only Call of Duty game I think I will pick up is one that is just Call of Duty Zombies. Like it's just called that. Like just give me Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, I don't
the
want to
base
pay
game.
for all the other stuff that comes
Yes,
with Black
right,
Ops.
yeah,
I just
exactly,
need-
yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't, because
I'm
obviously
surprised
not
they haven't done that.
Warzone, the Battle Royale is obviously free. I mean, they just updated Modern Warfare 2. I fucked up all my title screens because of the new season of Warzone, and then they dropped the season pass for Modern Warfare 2 along with it. So
Right,
it's been
okay.
delayed.
Okay.
So I don't see why they can't just do like fucking, if you just want to play zombies.
The zombie modes,
online,
yeah.
Why not?
Just all the maps, all the
People
characters,
don't want
all
zombies
in one
at the
package.
moment.
you know,
It's all fucking-
you're gonna pay for stuff, aren't you? You're gonna do a battle pass or a season pass, whatever you want to call it. Totally.
Yeah. Yep.
But
yep.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I fucking highly recommend it. Bomb drones are fun. Recommend that kill streak. Just fucks people up. It really annoys them.
Nice. Well, I got a few things to catch up on. Small mini reviews here. The first thing that I watched of note is Smile. And
Big old hype for this one, right?
big old hype for this one too. I mean, I think it was literally because the advertising for it was just so bloody simple.
Yeah.
It's just a picture of that woman's face with the big weird smile.
She was showing up at like baseball games.
Yeah, that's
and
right,
Stuff
yes,
as well.
yeah.
The camera was going, so I was like, "This is clever."
Yeah, so it's almost like a viral marketing for it. But the synopsis for it is basically, after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Basically, people smiling. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality.
This is such a sign of the times when it's weird that people are smiling.
Right, yeah.
2022, what the fuck have you got me happy
Come on,
about?
fucking smile at me, motherfucker. Get back.
There's a cost of living crisis and we're all going to die.
It had the unsettling nature of something like It Follows, of a more
you know,
recent
that's what it
film.
reminded me of. Yeah.
But I do think that it was fairly original as an I mean, like, there's been ghosts and demons and supernatural things like this in all the other shows, like Supernatural and Buffy and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the way that it was done, like, it was made to go straight to streaming, straight to TV, essentially. But the producers, when they watched it back, and the test audiences were like, this is actually much better than what you think it is. So, and then, of course, the viral push that it's had. So maybe now it's gone too viral for its own good, for what was a small little horror movie.
Well, I mean, look,
but the makeup was good, the effects were good, the acting was good, and I felt satisfied when the film ended.
Yeah.
And it also, another film that it reminds me of as well is Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell.
Yes.
It kind of follows
yeah.
that trajectory of things start getting more insane and unpredictable as it goes.
Yeah, it was weird because it was having a tough spot to come out at because it's got to go up against Halloween Ends. It's got to go up against Terrifier that's come out of the woodwork.
Barbarian
As well. But weirdly enough, when I first saw the trailer for Smile, I thought it was like the Western remake of The Sadness. like, oh, they've taken the sadness and just made everybody smile. And then I wikied it.
You like someone's getting skull fucked. It's just happening. Like.
But then I wikied it and I realised, oh, actually, it's more like you said, Drag Me to Hell. There's this spirit behind it. So
yeah. So
I'll give it
overall,
a watch before the end of the
definitely
year
is,
because it did. The first thing I thought of was It Follows. Actually,
yeah,
but,
yeah. So for me, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's interesting to see now as well that horror, they're actually advertising it. Like, that campaign was really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of advertisement for Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
Terrifier 2 had a shit ton of media behind it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if part of it is actually they're like, look how many fucking horror things were dropped by, like, Netflix.
yeah.
Sure.
So it's like, you want to release a fucking horror movie and get people off their asses to go watch it, you better make them have a reason, because I can
Nice.
watch 10 different new horror movies
Yeah.
on Netflix on Halloween
Yeah.
alone, you know?
Yeah, but of all the horror films I've seen this year, Smile is definitely contender for top 10. Not for all of media this year, but
Just horror
for
movies.
horror movies.
It's
yeah.
Halloween Ends in your top 10.
For worst of the year, yes. For the
Dude,
worst
I
of the
was
year.
going to say, like, you know, it's been a good year for horror, and then you made
Yeah.
that Halloween Ends thing. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, it's kinda
it's
shit all
also
over
been
it,
bad
really.
Love
Yeah.
hurts, man.
Yeah.
Love hurts.
So the next thing I want to talk about is Game of Thrones, the House of the Dragon.
Nice.
If you're not aware of the show, it
we'll
basically
talk about
follows
wrestling.
an internal succession war within House Targaryen at the
gonna
height of
drag
its
on.
power, 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen. I have to say, obviously, we've said this many times, how burnt out I was with the lackluster writing in Game of Thrones when the main show ended. There was not a lot of love left for Game of Thrones as a franchise because HBO were convinced that they were going to do prequels, spin-offs, sidequels, all kinds of stuff.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's one way of
Cycles.
condensing the fucking rant you went on after season 8.
It is.
Cycles a word?
Like, you can look back on it now like, I was a little disappointed.
Yes.
Still whacking the rage off the walls.
I'm still fuming at Dumb and Dumber for the way they abandoned that show because it was quality. And so to see Game of Thrones return, and I was judgmental. I was like, I'm not expecting anything good here. Why the fuck am I even here? Why am I giving you a second chance?
Because you love dragons.
I do love dragons, and I do love good storytelling, and I
Yeah.
like good characters.
Incest.
George R.R. Martin creates good characters. Yes, incest is
I'm
a
gonna
part
see a
of
bunch
it.
of dicks if I want.
It's not,
Yeah,
it's not
I
what
wanna
I'm there
see dick
watching
on
it
screen.
for. Floppy
Blood and
wiener,
dicks.
floppy wiener. But no, absolutely jaw-droppingly fantastic. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Probably one of the best TV shows all year round in terms of acting, makeup and effects, creature effects, storytelling, pacing, editing. Going with the time jumps that they're going, they're hitting you with all the main story beats. We're not following what's going on in the other houses across the kingdom. It is one show focused on this family and the backstabbing, the conniving, the who wants to take the throne. Should it be a man? Should it be a woman? Following... I could go on and on about
clearly
the
be a
performances in
Yeah.
there. And the last episode, the way it ended, was something that in all, 8 seasons of Game of Thrones and now this season, I'd seen stuff I'd not seen in the show before.
Robots.
Dragons fighting dragons, because
You
this is at
told
the
me,
time
dude,
when...
they put robots in fucking Game of Thrones. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, man, totally.
I'm gonna get very centered and watch
So
that.
yeah, if you're decided like I was originally to not want to bother with anything new Game of Thrones after what they've done,
Yeah,
this
I'm
is a prequel story. It's going to be over 2-3 seasons. They're going to tell this entire story. The book is ended, so I don't see them fucking it up. They might.
Oh
But-
man, you just cursed it. You have killed it yourself.
No,
right
I
there.
don't think so.
Dude writing it right now, he's looking at the last page of the book and he's like, could do.
Robots.
Check it out. If you're sleeping on it,
Can you
give it a
imagine
watch.
If they had the balls. You imagine if they had the balls to do that. Fuck it, we're ending it with robots.
Man, don't get me wrong. Like, it's going to be a great series. It's just like, what is it? Matt Smith is the head guy, right?
One of, yeah.
Yeah, it's got an enormous.
It's Matt Smith and Paddy Considine.
And Reese Ifans.
He's
yeah.
amazing.
And Reese Evans as
He's
well.
amazing.
Now, they're all really great actors, and I've loved all the work.
It's
that
the
is.
lady, I can't remember her. I mean, she's not in the show anymore.
But, like, take Matt Smith, for example, right? Matt Smith was part of Doctor Who, and he struggled, obviously, to make that show as successful as like the Doctor Who fans loved it.
Because he was already carrying his enormous head on his shoulders, so he couldn't carry the show.
No, but it was the writing. You know, he can do everything he can, but the writing always suffers. Like we said, Terminator Genesis, he was part of that.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, right at the start, and then he takes out John Connor, but then the writing destroys that. This season, I mean, how many seasons you hoping to get?
I want 3 seasons of this show.
3 seasons,
Yeah.
and then you'll be...
Yeah, and then that story's over.
But if they wanted to go for the season 4, you'd follow it?
I mean,
Yeah, but mate, 2 seasons into Cobra Kai, we're like, they can't go much further with it.
yeah, right.
And now I'm like, when's that fucking movie out?
yeah, exactly.
But man,
Yeah,
they had Chosen. They had Chosen in Cobra Kai. They ain't got Chosen in fucking House of Dragon. Chosen should turn up in House of Dragon.
As a robot.
Yeah, as a robot.
Oh dear, it's
No,
going to
Hey,
end.
in 2 years, you might be saying that we writ a better ending.
This is a perfect segue into the next film that I want to talk about.
Nice.
And we talked about the trailer for this one a few podcasts ago, and that is Crabs.
Crabs.
That's it, Crabs. And the synopsis, if you've forgotten the trailer, basically features
bear the lead.
a horde of murderous crab monsters descending on a sleepy coastal town on prom night. And only a ragtag group of outcasts can save the day.
Because
Now,
everyone else is at prom.
I honestly, it was one of those films. I was like, I'm in the mood for cheesy '80s monster movie. You know, whether it's ticks, spiders, crabs, slugs. Here we go, crabs. And the film starts off like straight away when the film started. I raced for the volume control because the film opens with a woman orgasming as loud as possible
Fantastic.
while she's having sex on the beach. I was just like,
That's a great start.
right. So, yeah. So that
Please
goes.
tell me there's like a hot tub time machine moment where she breaks the fourth wall. She's like, oh no, I've got crabs.
No, I know.
That would...
Basically, they get interrupted because a crab comes up and starts watching them, and she's like, "Well, I can't continue. I can't continue with this crab watching." So they get up and then they poke it with a stick, and they're like, "Oh, it's dead." So he forces her to stand there with the crab. She's got this giant crab. The crab's like the size of her torso.
It's walked up and watched them and then died.
Well, they're horseshoe crabs, so they're basically, you don't get to see the underneath of them. They're like the backs of jellyfish moving across.
Okay.
But yeah, they both get killed horribly. Well, actually, the crab launches on his face, and she goes and grabs a rock, and the
never seen
moment
a
he
single
pulls the
film.
crab off his face, she drops the rock on his head and,
Amazing.
and kills him.
Brilliant.
They find
kill.
her.
Was it gory?
They find
Did
her
you
later.
see
Oh,
the-
there's gore, but you don't see that.
You didn't
don't
see the crush
that
head?
part, no.
Oh.
But there is
Not
other gore
terrifying.
in the film later because where they find her eyeballs hanging from her cheek. So
Why?
because another crab
crab
jumps
was-
for her, and they find her days
Stop
later.
fucked.
They find her days later. So I was like, okay, you know what? We've had sex, we've had death. Like, okay, like this 3 minutes title screen. Here we go. Film starting now.
How long was the film?
An hour and a half. Like
not
standard
bad.
time,
That's
90
all right.
minutes,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So,
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
and I was like, CGI on the crabs wasn't too bad,
Yeah.
you know, and nudity straight away. I'm like, okay, here we go. But then, like 10 minutes in, I'm like, I reached for the skip scene button. It's just like, I was like, oh, and then something happened. I was like, oh, I'll stick with it. And this movie Crabs, it like after half an hour, I was like, it's time to skip. It's time to skip scene, and I did. And I was like skipping until the next death. I was like, oh, I like that character. It's a shame they're dead now. Oh no, actually no, they cheated death. They're back again. Oh no, the film's killed them again. Oh no, he's back again. Oh, he's still not. Now he's definitely dead. Okay. But yeah, these crabs, you've got the little horseshoe crab ones, then you've got the human-sized crab ones, and then you've got the Godzilla-sized crab that turns up.
Of course.
Okay.
Something's got to
And
be
do you know
laying
what
these
you
things.
use to fight a Godzilla-sized crab?
Penicillin.
A pot of giant water.
No, robot!
They got a robot.
They got a
out.
giant
They got
robot!
a giant
And
robot.
they fight the crab inside a giant robot.
It's already
Power
got,
Rangers
it's already
style.
got a better
They-
ending than
they-
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, they built the robot, or the
Yes,
robot was
throughout
underneath?
the film, he's in
No,
a,
the
he's in a
robot was just
wheelchair.
available.
He's in a wheelchair, and so he's into science, and he's trying to build these legs for him to walk around in. But like they have a 5-minute montage where he's like, we need to build something to fight this giant crab, and they're there like they tie a giant pirate wheel to this thing, and then next thing you know, it launches up, and it's got blue
Sounds
electric
amazing.
laser
This is
beams.
amazing! Yeah,
And I
this
was
is
just
so
like,
much
what?
better
I
than
was
House of
like,
Dragon.
I might have skipped a bit too much. I don't know what's going on now. 4 out of 10. Don't recommend.
Giant
Dude, you
robot.
just fucking sold it to me now.
But no, but it's got seriously. You'll be watching it going, this
I'm
is
buying a
shit.
DVD right now.
I need to skip scene.
Dude, I sat through Halloween Ends. I sat through fucking leeches. I can sit through fucking crabs.
Okay, so that was my crabs anyway. I shared them with everybody now.
We've all got crabs.
Evil Dead the game, like still playing it with Ian, still playing it when I get a minute, when I get some free time. For those of you not aware, it's currently free on the Epic Store.
Yes, come,
Ian and
PC
I have
players.
seen a whole wave
Come
of
on.
thousands of level 1 Evil Dead players, and it just makes me want to complain that Saber has done a terrible job.
No, they have
with
not.
the tutorial. Yes, they
They
have.
have not.
Yes,
Do you-
they
no,
have.
do you- no,
Ian.
Well, I mean, if
It is
you're playing against level
objectively
1, then
true.
they have.
You have been saying that since day one
It's
because
objectively
the
true.
fucking tutorials were hard as fuck. They even had to patch the tutorials at one point because people couldn't fucking do them because they were too hard. And we had this whole fucking learning curve since day one of the games coming out of balancing it all and getting the meta in the community. The game's been out, 6 months, and it's already probably got the best online survival community you can have because everybody playing it knows how to play it. And everybody who's joining now will either have to learn or get the fuck out and go back to
This
Call
game
of
would be great
Duty.
for work for the fucking players.
Because man, you say that like the last night that we played, we had 4 victories against level 1, level 2 fucking evils. They didn't know what they were doing. We were playing against people who didn't know what they were doing, and you and I fucking owned ass, and it was ace. If we never played a game after last night, fucking brilliant. Because I've
Yeah,
had...
but why do you want to play against fucking
No.
newbies that don't know what they're doing?
Wait. No.
Hello,
Hear
victory, innit?
me out. How long has it been out? What? Like I said,
5-6 months.
5-6 months. For those 5-6 months, man, I've been tormented and tortured by people who have come into the game, and you know what games are like. We're all online gamers. You learn that game. You learn what's broken, what's fixed. You go onto Gary's gone onto Discords and Reddits and followed the meta, and we're learning about all the different patches because that's how you understand how a game really properly works. When you've gone up against like a really good player, and your team could suck, and I've had some really bad games, but I've gone, you know what? Take it on the chin, get back in the game, play the next one, and I've just leveled up, and then I've had some glorious fucking moments where the evil is a really good player, and they are trying to kill you, they are trying to punish you, they will break you the moment they have you, and your team, you're back to back against the wall, fucking killing deadites, and you steal the victory, and you're like, fuck you, motherfucker! Next game, and you're back in it again. It's ace. It's one of the best online games at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, it sounds it. Just like I said, it just seems like I suppose they got a balancing issue.
Oh, the game has a balancing
They
issue.
always
New
have.
That's-
players need to
yeah.
be playing each other.
Well,
Yeah,
they absolutely do. They absolutely do.
Which we were all level 1, and I was going up against heavy levels as well. Luckily, they implemented that fucking triple XP thing, which is helping us all level up really quickly and get all the bites.
Yeah.
It probably won't last, mate. Like maybe another year or 2, unless they bring out like another map and a bunch of new characters.
Well,
to
they'll
keep the
definitely be
community
bringing more
going.
content out for
Oh, man.
a season 2.
Castle
But they,
Kandar?
the skill difference can make a huge difference to the gameplay because, of course, there's the leveling up system and the in-game leveling up system as
Yeah.
well. And there's an element of RNG to it, but I honestly feel like as a tutorial, the game fails to teach new players how to play the game.
Yeah.
And the absolute issue that people are having with that game is the moment they get into a game, they start firing their guns and they start getting into cars and they split up.
Yeah.
The game does not tell you that these are all bad things to do. So
you learn
they
it.
don't learn that way unless somebody tells them. And if you're a demon, you can tell them. And a lot of them are not on mics anyway because they're blaring music really loud. It's
Yeah.
like, it's typical online arena. But I absolutely still love the game. I'm not going to give up playing it. But it's difficult to get an actual competitive game on there right
think
now
the thing
without
is, mate,
just
it's-
schooling new
There's
players.
a million examples of games where it's sort of like if it's a 4-on-4 game, if you have a team of 4 and you're all on the mic, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely,
If it's not that, then you're massive. Even like okay, there was 2 of us that are talking,
Yeah, yeah.
but the others aren't. It massively
changes things a lot.
impacts.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
If you think about it, that game has only ever been play tested really with 4 people.
Yes,
all sitting
or
in the room.
co-op,
It's like this
yeah.
is how the game is meant to be
Yeah,
played.
Yeah, so when you get 4
um,
that don't communicate, you'll
yeah,
see that
yeah,
imbalance
you very
completely.
much,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I've realised though, right, that the type of players playing Evil Dead do reflect the type of people that are in the movies.
Yes.
So you have
bad decision. Bad decision.
so you
All the way
have
through.
the hero character who is the unknown hero, like Ash character that obviously runs around, wants to win the game. Then you've got the Scotty character who thinks they know what they're doing, but actually they run off and get killed. And then you've got usually like, you know, the healer type helpful character who's probably going to get possessed and will kill you at some point. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fun times. Next thing I want to talk about quickly is Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I'm very lukewarm on this one.
Same.
I'm
I've
overall.
not seen it yet.
It's a 6 out of 10 for me, and I'm devastated. It's like one of the lowest scores I've ever given Del Toro anything.
But it is an anthology.
It's an anthology,
and this is why
he didn't direct every
it
episode.
does.
He wrote some of them. But yeah, it's. I'd say if you're a horror fan or a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, you're going to want to check it out. But there's some duds in there.
There's some great
that's
imagery
what I didn't
in pretty
expect.
much all of them.
Yes.
They all look
Yeah, they do.
fantastic.
They do. Yeah.
Just Netflix money.
But also weirdly, they're all like period dramas as well. They're all
Yeah.
period pieces, which I wasn't quite expecting. But
I only picked
that's
that up
fine.
like 3 or 4 in.
Yeah.
I like realised what they're doing, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was okay. I wished it was better. I wish I was raving about it, but I don't know.
Still fun though. It's
yeah.
fun. What even if you just like I'll just watch one and then you go back.
I had been
You could
tempted,
watch one
but
a
I was
week,
waiting
yeah.
for them all to drop and then go back and watch them, and then once the hype dies down and people aren't talking about it, I forget about it and just move on.
Fair enough. Yeah,
It's got
That's
some
it.
good episodes.
It's got some good episodes.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I
worth checking
say I
out.
think the opening one may be the best one. I don't
The
know.
third one for me was the best one, the autopsy one.
Any
That
giant,
was great. F.
Yeah.
Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham,
Ruling,
yeah.
like,
any giant robots.
No giant robots. No.
We could draw one on the TV for you, so that there's always a giant robot in all of your movies.
Giant robots.
Next thing I want to talk about is also a Netflix show.
Yeah, I need to watch
All
this.
Quiet on the Western
Oh,
Front.
Really
yeah.
need to watch this.
It's a young German soldier's terrifying experiences and distress on the Western Front during World War One.
Yes.
I thought it was great. Simply stunning, harrowing and frightening. Masterfully made, beautifully performed, with quality effects and stomach-churning gore. The film is an anti-war movie. It is.
Well,
It captures
but
all
it's
the
just a
details of the
great-
trench warfare,
Yeah.
of the camaraderie of friends, all the way to the final whistle blow to mark the end of the war. It's it
Very
definitely.
interesting to see it from that side as well.
Yes, yeah.
Have you seen the movies?
I have seen the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. This one does change things slightly. But I think for the better too.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it still has the scene in the crater with
based
the
on
two soldiers.
based on the book.
It is based on the book, yeah. So yeah, it was it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So you're definitely in for the long haul with it, and it will take you on quite a journey. And I will say, like the opening 5 minutes, it sticks with you right away because you watch this battle take place in the trenches.
Giant robots everywhere.
Giant robots everywhere. You see this soldier get completely obliterated, Ed 209 style, like Kenny, right? And they take they take him back and they take off his jacket. It's covered in blood. They wash it, they patch it up, and then they give it to the fresh soldier as brand new. And it's just like, the
man.
imagery that paints, that's the first 5 minutes of the film. So then you're in.
It's just so amazing because obviously you watch how they all start off, patriotism. They want to protect their country. They want to work with each other. They're going to go out there, and then halfway through the movie, you so damn well want to pull them out from the trenches because it's just death. And you like you said, that one crater moment where it's the two soldiers going at it. No spoilers, but one of them's going to die. And
so it's like the Saving Private Ryan fucking.
Yes.
But it's like the realization for the character that you're following, who's just like, he's just like me. He's come from his home. He's doing this, and it's like, war, hell.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely brutal. But that's it for me on the catch up front.
Oh.
So I think we're ready to jump into some news.
I'm not ready for this.
Yeah,
No,
we accept it, man.
We
Accept
know
it.
we always start the news segment. If there has been a cause, we will honour those that have passed in the industry, especially those that have meant a lot to us in the roles that they've played or the arts that they've given us. And this one hurts a little bit. This is the sad passing of Kevin Conroy at the age of 66.
That's my Batman.
Yeah. legendary
So
voice actor,
devastated.
best known as the voice of Batman in games and animated shows. Conroy lent his voice to the character for 30 years, starting in 1992's Batman, the animated series. And Mark Hamill, his Joker co-star, paid tribute by saying, Kevin was perfection. He said, he was one of my favourite people on the planet, and I loved him like a brother. He truly cared for the people around him. His decency shone through everything he did. Every time I saw him or spoke with him, my spirits were elevated. It's one of the sweetest, eulogies, statements.
It was really nice. I mean,
honouring a fallen friend.
They sort of highlighted that Kevin Conroy had spent a lot of recent time as well at cons and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So he knew he was on his way out and kind of just wanted to spend more time meeting fans and
He did that
speaking to
so
people.
much.
And it's not, he was a busy boy, you know. Man, it's really bad when I saw it. I got genuinely upset when I saw that news because that is, like you say, I mean, first hearing it in the animated series, obviously, but then taking it through, he's done animated movies, he's done the Arkham games, you know, and to me, and this has been said by loads of other people, but that is the voice that I hear when I read the comics.
Yeah, it is Kevin's voice. Yeah,
it's a weird thing though, isn't it? Because like I can't remember. Like we've already lost Adam West.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like for a lot of people, that was just
Batmans,
like it was just like that was our Batman, you know. And then Kevin Conroy, and it's like that was our Batman, you know. Knock on wood, you know. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, even fucking George Clooney. You know, when people look at Batman,
I've never known anybody who say
can't imagine
George Clooney is my Batman.
He's my Batman.
No, but for some,
maybe Joel Schumacher.
You know, for some people, Kevin Conroy was just the voice of Batman. But like you said, when we read the comic books, that's the voice we hear. I watched as soon as I heard the news. I went on YouTube, and you know what YouTube's like? It reads your mind before you even load in. And it was just
algorithm.
Like, here's Batman talking about how he's going to take out all of the Justice League. And I sat there for 5 minutes and just listened to him in the Justice League episode where he sat in front of the computer and he's updating all of his logs about how he's going to take out Superman, Wonder Woman, fucking Martian Manhunter, fucking Plastic Man, all of them. And like, I almost fucking just burst into tears, but I'm like, no, Batman don't cry. Batman don't cry. He just does his thing, and he just gets his belt on, and he puts his cowl on, and he goes right back to work. You know, he never, even when fucking Jason Todd died, you know, he was right back to work next night.
Criminals need punching.
Exactly.
They did.
Yeah, man. Again, just to touch on the animated series as well, sort of like the performance he brought to Bruce Wayne as well was phenomenal. It is a massive loss because obviously he's done a lot of other voices as well, you know. That one's done. That sucked. Yeah. Especially really 66, I believe he was.
Yeah.
That's no fucking age.
Exactly. Yeah, in today's world, he should
no
get
age,
much.
man.
Yeah,
that's no
real
age.
shame.
But
Cut
what
short.
a fucking champion he was.
Yeah, absolute legend, icon. We're gonna hear his voice, I think, forever. It's whoever takes on the role. It's never really gonna replace it, but the character, I guess, will still live on.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a character that will also live on, absent its actor, The Witcher 4, Witcher Season 4 has been announced with major recasting news.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill has left the show after 3 seasons. Now, only days before, he signed on to play Superman in more DC projects.
Yes.
So a lot of people was like, oh, clearly, you know, DC reversed a money truck up to his driveway and went, Superman, here's your cape. You're back.
Do you reckon he's like, I can only work out for so much?
Right.
He's like, fuck, I can't work out for The Witcher and for Superman. Just let me be fat for 9 minutes, please.
Yes.
Maybe that's it.
And so, it's... Now, a lot of people have also speculated that there's probably more going on behind the scenes because anyone who was paying attention to Cavill before the first season had even come out was that he was a staunch defender of the original books, the source material.
Yeah.
And he was like, this show is not going to deviate from the source material. It's not going to be like the games that you've all played and know. They're going to be like the books.
Yeah.
But over the last couple of years, we've become more aware that some of the writers working for the show treat the source material with absolute disdain. So much so that apparently it's been known that they have actively mocked the source material in the writer's room for the Witcher series.
Really?
Some of the writers have quit the show. And in that time, now Henry Cavill has also quit the show.
So they quit the show after the third season's been finished, essentially.
Yes,
Yeah?
they have, yeah.
Interesting.
So it would seem like the third season's going in a direction that is deviating massively from the source material,
Yeah.
and those that were there to do the source material have up and left. So I don't blame Cavill for if that is the reason. If it was because like more money, more Superman, then that's like, well, that's a bit shit.
I thought that, but you imagine if they've turned to him and said, look, we want you back as Superman and we're going to pay you X amount of dollars. And he's like, okay. And then Netflix goes, well, we want you back as Witcher. And he goes, well, this is how much I think I'm worth. How much are you willing on paying? And they're like,
Fuck it, we'll just get Liam Hemsworth.
yeah, we'll just get Liam. Fuck you, we'll just get Liam Hemsworth.
No one's casting
Is
this
he, you
know,
Hemsworth.
and it's going to kill them.
Is Liam Hemsworth in the foyer? I assume he's just hanging around.
Who's going to... Why would you do that? You do not change your lead.
Well, I mean,
it's
like
happened-
Spartacus did
I was
it.
literally about to say
No,
Spartacus. That was a
yes,
slightly
I know
different
it is.
reason.
I know it
Spartacus
is,
was for
yeah.
a different reason, and they
Yes.
have done it in
Doctor Who does it all the bloody time.
That's for a different reason as well, and they have.
I know.
They've done it in other shows, and the shows have succeeded. They slip my mind at the moment what they are, but it's the fact that
Did it for that Dumbledore movie?
press related, same reason as Spartacus though. Like it, knock on wood again. Fucking if Henry Cavill had died, they'd have had to have replaced him.
Yeah.
You know, like the same that they did with Superman, but simply to turn around and go, yeah, because it was Netflix who announced it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't say, oh yeah, he stepped away from the project and there's disagreements. They were just like, no, we've hired Liam Hemsworth.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
just that's
You know?
spinning it to your
exactly.
your narrative, isn't it? So
Yeah, because
I mean,
Henry
look, don't
Cavill's
get me
had
wrong.
nice
Listen,
things to say. It's just like wish him well, and
yeah, of
the
course.
roles for
And
him now.
I like Henry Cavill as you know Geralt, but I've not read the books or anything. I've not even played the fucking games, to be honest. So I was just like, oh, I'll just watch this thing. I know, well, you know, I haven't got as many hours free as everyone else.
It's fair. They're long games.
Exactly. So
There's a lot of books too.
But as soon as when they mentioned it, and I was like, oh, Liam Hemsworth. Nothing wrong with Liam Hemsworth. He's got no fucking chance.
No,
Because people love
Henry Cavill.
They love
exactly.
Henry Cavill. You're about to have 3 seasons and then a 4th with it. It's like the boy's got no chance.
He doesn't. You're just setting him up to fail.
It's like,
Yeah.
probably won't be. But
He might save the character if the writing works.
no, if it's good, it's good.
But
But
it's
it's
They
like
can give it a
you know,
chance, but yeah,
He's
it's
kind
just
of living in the
a
shadow
bit devastating, really.
He's living in the shadow of his brother as well.
Yeah. So yeah, really.
Sorry, Liam, we're dumbing the show.
Sad news for the Witcher fans. Still,
sad news for Witcher.
His brother, the other Hemsworth that plays the fake Thor in the Ragnarok play, and because he's great.
next bit of interesting news is James Gunn is now planning out a 10-year cinematic plan for DC movies over at Warner Brothers. He has said, the opportunity to make DC as great as it can be and as it should be, that is the reason why I'm doing this job, because I know that I can do that. We spent the last couple of days with a group of some of the best thinkers in the industry and the best writers in the industry starting to map out the 8 to 10 year plan of what it's going to look like in theatre, in TV, in animation, across the board for these characters. So whether that's going to be reassuring for you, because you know, DC has kind of floundered in terms of trying to make anything coherent, really. That they're actually going to have somebody of an artistic merit actually now overseeing the entire thing instead of just do that. Let's see what sticks. So, and I think Henry Cavill is also excited to be working now with James Gunn. Jason Momoa has gone on record saying how excited he is now to have James Gunn. Of course, some of them have already collaborated with Peacemaker. So Peacemaker's kind
This
of,
is
we're
the
seeing
thing.
the world open up here, and I'm like, I've loved James Gunn forever. So for me, it's huge news. Like I'm so
really
excited at what we're going to see from there, and hopefully now something more substantial.
Yeah.
There's still going to be
mean-
superhero movies, but I just think
It's just they're bringing in someone to build a universe.
Yes.
That's what DC's been missing since day one.
Yeah,
because Marvel smashed them out the park with
it's not.
theirs.
No, they made terrible fucking decisions. Marvel didn't have to do anything. Fucking DC beat themselves, mate. The guy that was in charge of fucking DC had name.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
No. Listen. What Marvel do have no consequence of how DC build it. All that they did was they went, well, Marvel's been doing, say, you know, their universe, the Infinity Saga for like, say, 5-6 years at this point. We're just going to skip right to Justice League and not do any of the building and not put any of the foundation in. But having, like I said, after watching Peacemaker, which is fucking phenomenal.
yes.
And a TV show.
I can't wait. Yeah, but mate, it don't look like a TV show.
No.
No.
Anyway.
It does when it finishes on episodes that last, 45 minutes? 45
What's your
minutes?
point?
My point is that DC cannot hold a 2-hour story.
Well,
They attempt to, but
they've
can't.
had a couple
Marvel,
where, they had
Marvel
to tell the story.
made a couple and hit some really lucky breaks and decided we're going to go with a 10-year plan.
Yeah, they had a better plan.
No, DC had the chance to do that fucking back in 1989 and
course they
fucking
did.
1992, but they went, our money isn't going to go into a fucking audience where people are going to watch comic book movies. We're just going to have fun with it. DC have been mocking us for fucking years. Wonder Woman 84, Aquaman.
I'm not going to say it wasn't a bad movie, but all I'm saying is, because I still maintain, I'll fucking defend the Snyderverse, mate.
James Gunn is
they
doing a
had
10-year plan because
because
that's what worked for Marvel.
because they finally figured
Yeah.
out that that's what they need to do.
James Gunn
Zack
was part
Snyder
of that
started
10-year plan.
trying to do
Now,
it,
Black
and they
Adam's
cut his dick off.
Black Adam's just come out, right? And
Yeah, I've not watched it yet.
No, yeah, none of us have actually seen it. That's how much of a DC fans we are. None of us went to see Black Adam. Now, them trying to support these characters, they could really make a good story come off of him, Black Adam, and the Justice League of America, and try to stem away from the usual Batman Superman stories, because we've just had the Batman. Please do not give me another Batman movie in the next 5 years.
Oh, you're definitely getting
definitely
several.
gonna
You definitely are.
But the point is though, isn't it better that they're going, let's bring in someone who's got a proven track record
No.
to make a 10. So what do they do? Just scrap
Because
it?
I
We'll just
don't-
bin off all
I-
these characters we got. We're just not bothered.
Right, okay, no, don't get me wrong. James Gunn is pretty good. Yeah, okay, Guardians, yeah, pretty damn good. Suicide Squad, yes. But that plan will not work for a Batman movie. Do you want to hear Batman go, fuck, as he's beating the shit out of some guy?
Yes.
Do you want to hear Superman do it? Because they
What
might do
is
it with
that?
him too.
Why do you think that that's what he's going to do?
No. What I'm saying is
That sounds
if
more
he-
like Snyder's version.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
if he hands it to somebody else and they
Batman at
make
the end of
a character,
Well, I do prefer the Snyder cut. So
they
Love the
The-
Snyder cut. Fucking-
I think DC are really floundering. They're trying to save their ideas from what Marvel have done as well. But Marvel have got they've got miles ahead of them with their Disney Plus,
Yeah, but the
their
thing
TV
is, though, mate,
shows.
is recently, DC's put out better content than Marvel.
agreed.
Like,
Okay, so the Batman, Peacemaker, yeah.
Okay.
Suicide Squad was a fucking decent.
Suicide Squad is
okay,
a
right.
masterpiece.
Okay.
Yes.
that's 3. Now give me 3 that they beat.
Wait, no, okay.
Give me the three that
No,
they
I'll
did.
do the other way. Tell me something that Marvel put out in this phase that's better than any of them. And also, by the
Nothing.
way, I still enjoyed all the Marvel stuff.
No, I
I've not
still
seen
enjoyed
Wakanda
Doctor
Forever.
Strange: The Multiverse, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's not as good as any of those.
No, you
Yeah.
can't touch it.
Right, okay, I'll give you, She-Hulk was nowhere good as The Batman, but it's a TV series versus a 3-hour movie.
Okay, well, She-Hulk versus Peacemaker.
we will even-
Spider-Man
we
was
will
probably
even
the
agree
best
as
thing
well.
Marvel has done
The
lately.
Batman was
Yeah, I
really
agree with
good
that.
Yeah.
filmed-wise, but story-wise, it wasn't as a really great story.
Do you know, I like She-Hulk,
She-Hulk
but it's
actually-
just law of diminishing returns now.
She-
In fact, I
She-Hulk
like
actually built up
She-Hulk
more
because they tried
characters
something
to
different.
to expand the universe. Batman didn't expand the universe. They just went, here's Batman,
That's
here's
because it's
Riddler.
the start of a new one.
Again,
Joker. I'll throw Joker in there as well.
We're
You know
getting
what?
Joker 2, the
You know what?
musical.
I can see how this conversation's going to go, and we'll see. This is podcast 50. We've got
This is also gonna be the last one.
We've got 8 to 10
Fucking
years.
last one.
We've got 8 to 10 years of James Gunn to hand us magnificent DC movies, and I really do hope he does. But I don't. Think
Honestly,
he will be able to.
I was
if
never
they just keep
excited
giving us
about
the same
what
shit.
DC were doing. Knowing that James Gunn is up there doing stuff, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome. Like, I know I can get a little bit excited when I hear what they're doing next, and there's going to be something.
Actually, a Polka Dot Man the movie.
Oh, take my money. Take my money. All I want to see now is Affleck just like with Deathstroke.
Yes.
We
Well,
should write movie. We should work for James Gunn.
speaking of horrifying
Like-
things,
Yeah.
I want to talk about Terrifier 2 just a little bit more.
Okay.
Because Terrifier 2 done did good this Halloween just gone. It's now available to stream on iTunes and on Prime Video or on Screenbox. The film is still showing in just a few theaters after having hundreds more theaters open up and start screening it over the Halloween period, helping the film now make over 10 million at the box office, which, I don't know, for me it's just a small round of applause
fucking
to
hell,
this
outstanding.
low-budget horror
Outstanding.
movie that has
no business
doing the numbers
That
it's doing.
director is laughing his dick off right
Yes,
now, just on a pile of cocaine with matey dressed as Art the Clown next to him. Like, I can't believe they let us do this.
Yes, and,
Like,
and I want a third one. Now, I just hope they actually edit the next one down a little bit. That's my only real complaint of Terrifier 2, is that it is way too long for what it needs to be.
It peaked too quickly.
It
That
did.
fucking scene, and you know what I'm talking about. After that, it was just, you can't, there's no way you get near that again. You know?
But yeah, credit to the little horror movie that just blew all expectations this year.
Again, I still prefer the first one.
Yeah.
Because this one,
less
it's
is
like,
more.
yeah, it is a little bit less.
No,
is
I
more.
still
And
think
also
the
it's
first
like,
one still has the worst kill in the two movies.
Which one?
The sawing down the middle.
Oh yeah, as in like when you say worst, you mean
it's
the most horrific.
Is
Absolutely.
Is it
yeah.
worse than Bone Tomahawk sawing?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, because
Yeah,
Ben
that was
Tomahawk
fucking-
cuts away after a minute.
Yeah, it does at least give you a little chance to breathe.
Yeah,
with
when
Bone
you just
Tomahawk.
stick on the prosthetic, then yeah, that's pretty gory.
But
I still.
yeah, they do. It was too long. It was probably.
I still haven't seen either Terrifier 1 or 2, and I do want to. I think they'll be really good to watch, but I'm just not in the mood.
You should watch the Chris Jericho
For that?
cameo. Just watch that.
Like it's
It made no sense,
Right.
and it was like anyone could
the
have done this.
whole
What the fuck?
The whole thing was everyone just going, "Oh, it's so violent. People have been throwing up in the fucking aisles of the cinemas. It's gonna get fucking." I'm like, it's not gonna get banned. It's already out on fucking YouTube.
There's something,
kids are watching
there's
it
something
before
funny about
fucking-
that. Is like I watched the whole movie, and at the end, I was kind of like, "Who are these wankers that are fucking throwing up?" It wasn't that bad. Was it that bad, or is that am I just a terrible person? Because I got to admit, isn't that because I know you've wikid it and stuff. You've seen obviously the biggest, most horrific fucking scene in it, which I still won't spoil, but. You know, he comes in, he does his thing to this where he just, this horrificness happens. And you're sat there like, fucking hell. Like,
Right,
That was a bit strong. But the problem is, he fucks off, and then the prick comes back with a fucking thing of salt
Because she's not dead yet.
and a fucking tub of bleach. And I swear, I think salt's even got salt written around it, just so you don't miss the plot if you're in the
don't
cheap
miss it,
seats.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And that's it. I'm gone. I'm pissing myself.
Yeah.
I'm laughing
Yeah.
so hard. I'm
You
like,
just- 'cause you
I'm
just
like,
can't
that's
believe
enough
it.
art. Just fucking.
Yeah.
It's like dealing with a toddler now. Just fucking get back.
Yeah.
Just leave her alone. But then it
But it
became
goes
comical,
forever
and
again.
I couldn't
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
laughing.
That's it. That is it. Yeah.
should have
And I was like, do you know, if you'd have left that alone,
But that's the chemistry of it.
The
That's
story
what
should
what
have been
makes it
better.
work.
I don't think the story holds it way together.
Well, it's the fact that the
There's
second one actually has a story. The first one didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
that's true. I
even
think
then,
this
the
one
story
feels
is weak.
This one feels like if they carry on
I mean,
this
it's not
direction,
Corey
at
for
least-
4 years in a fucking sewer week.
This is true.
But it's
yeah.
fucking weak.
Yeah, that didn't happen. At
Fucking
least.
Corey, fuck you.
But yeah, the dream sequence stuff, the supernatural stuff coming into it. The groundwork was there in the first one. This
Yes.
one, obviously, they went a bit more hard in the paint. So I hope in the third one we get some explanation, because that little girl that only I could see was a real
Yeah,
interesting.
I was just like, oh, it's
scary-ass
the
piece of
second
shit.
one, so there's two of them. I was
Yeah.
like, is there going to be three of them in the third one?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of twos, Constantine 2, a little bit of update on the news for this one from director Francis Lawrence, explaining that they are actually going to be making Constantine 2 an R-rated or an 18 certificate film this time around. And he explains that they have a different mindset going into this one before, because, well, as you may aware, when they made Constantine, they were told to make a PG-13 film regarding violence, nudity, and vulgarity. Yet when the film came out, it was still given an R or an 18 rating. And I mentioned in the review, and I was like, I wonder
Religious
why this film's
theme.
18 rated. I was like, maybe it's because of the religious stuff, maybe it was because of the smoking.
That's what I assumed. It's
That's
the
what I
smoking.
assume. But the director's actually come out and said the reason why. And it's the vague term of intensity. The film was too intense for PG audiences, so it got an 18 rating. And how do you like with smoking, you can remove the cigarette. With nudity, you can just cut the scene. If when they go, your film's too intense, like, well, shit, there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm sorry. But immediately as you said that, I'm thinking, shit, when did Constantine come out? What, 2006?
2002, 2006, somewhere around that time.
You
Yeah.
never got Terrifier 2 back then.
Well, no.
Nowadays, oh, fuck, y'all. We just got Terrifier 2, fucking John Wick, fucking Keanu Reeves. Constantine can run out on fucking screen with fucking cigarettes up his nose, shouting the word cunt, and everyone will be like, where's that?
But he said he's just really happy this time around that he's got no restrictions and limitations. He's been told, make the film you want to make. And so, yeah, whatever content he wants to
Another
put in there.
DC movie that might be fucking, better than Marvel.
Right.
Man, Constantine's up there with
He's like,
Blade. You know? Fucking
Oh, dear.
Blade's better than Constantine one.
And I want to talk about Crystal Lake. Next bit of news. Now, Crystal Lake is the name of the new Friday the 13th property.
and a
And it's
local
gonna-
brand of vodka.
Right. Now, it's going to be a streaming TV series that will serve as an expanded prequel to the original movies and franchise.
Right.
Similar right now to what's also happening with the Pennywise series,
Before
which is
he
going to be a
dies
prequel.
Or after he dies.
So is it just watching Mrs. Voorhees grieve?
Maybe?
Just really fucking
Now-
miserable.
This is what the original conception of Crystal Lake was going to be, because now I want to give you now a quick rundown of the legal battle that has been going on with Friday the 13th.
I'm reading your notes and I'm like, this is like, Chucky worked.
Right?
And
Now,
who else has got a franchise we can buy?
Sean Cunningham is the original movie's director.
Yeah.
And Victor Miller is the original movie's writer. And these are the
Right,
two that have
yeah.
been fighting over control as to who gets what. Now, in 2018, a judge ruled that Victor Miller owns all the rights of the original film's screenplay,
Right.
which Cunningham sued him over and over to try to overturn and failed.
Yeah.
Cunningham now, however, does own all the rights to Adult Jason and the Hockey Mask, hence the limbo state now.
So he owns. So the other guy owns number
Bag-
one.
so he owns
He
Baghdad.
owns Camp Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is a setting. He owns Pamela Voorhees and Baby Jason.
Yeah.
He doesn't own Adult Jason Hockey
But
Mask.
but Cunningham covers fucking 3 to Jason X.
Yes,
and beyond.
all the Jason stuff.
And
yeah.
nobody and they are arguing over Friday the 13th Part 2.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. Well, I
Because
mean,
that's adult Jason, but it's
Yes.
also got Pamela Voorhees.
Yes.
and
Wise,
it's
so-
got the
this
original
is
film in
making
it.
me think of that Clarice fucking show that they did.
Yeah,
it's
where it's like-
we've got the bare minimum of rights, and we're going to try and squeeze something out of this
Yeah.
vaguely related to it.
Yeah.
exactly. So that's where the limbo state's been, and also hence why the abandonment of the video game as well. Now, Victor Miller is now co-producing this Crystal Lake series, hence no Jason,
Yeah.
just Crystal Lake. And he's working with Horror Inc. boss Rob Barsamian. Sorry about the names.
Okay.
For Peacock. Now, Cunningham's rights with Jason are under control by Horror Inc. Ergo, Victor Miller will have full creative control of Jason again for this show, but not for
Okay.
games or films.
Oh, so this is Sony and Spider-Man.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I got
yes. So lastly,
Just got to put it in
Lastly-
shit I'll understand, and I'll work it out.
Brian
Lazy
Fuller
man's terms.
officially confirmed to Fangoria that A24 and Mark Toberoff, who is Victor Miller's lawyer, have beautifully and excruciatingly assembled all of the Friday the 13th rights.
Fucking hell.
As a streaming series, we have the rights to do everything underneath the Friday the 13th umbrella going forward.
I'm telling you now, them lawyers
So-
are probably finishing like, this series better be fucking worth it.
Yes, right.
Like, oh my
Well,
god.
they already got paid. It don't
Or
matter.
for
They
a
already are.
Can you imagine
hockey-wearing
that? If it just
psycho
gets
teen killer.
It's just shit. Like, what a fucking waste of time that
He
was.
won't wear the mask, will he? Because that's what Cunningham owns.
Well, no, I've just said.
No, that is so.
All the rights are under one umbrella now.
Sony letting Disney
just
use
happened.
Spider-Man.
Right,
So Peter
they-
Parker, he's in the mask. Same thing.
So both Cunningham and Miller are both getting paid.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Because
Yes.
as long as they are both getting
I mean,
paid,
based on the
we
success
get...
of the show, but how can they miss? You know, like fucking hell.
Yeah, how can they? Yeah.
We're just going to find out that Jason's been hiding in the sewer for the last 13 years. Do you know it's been 13 years since we've had a Friday the 13th
I'm gonna
project?
write you a better
Yeah.
series right now. It's a fucking buddy comedy with Jason and Michael Myers living in the sewer together, and it's like Friends, but
Yes.
in the sewer.
Slashers. They get called slashers.
Oh, God.
fucking cut you.
The
The shit writes itself.
All right, I'm just going to quickly roll into our quickfire news to end out this segment of the podcast.
Freddy's the neighbour knits in.
Yeah,
You get a round of applause. It's like, "Hey!"
Your love life's DOA. They just killed a bitch with a hockey stick. Your mother told you days like this, and you watch the mum get decapitated.
Season finale. Giant fucking robot shows up.
And every episode ends just as Michael's about to say something, and it credits. Michael, what do you think?
Studio Ghibli have teased a Lucasfilm collaboration. That's the news. There's
Nice.
really nothing more to go on, except now we know that Studio Ghibli have released a very short clip of both studios' logos. Most people are assuming it's going to be a Studio Ghibli Star Wars animated feature.
Sweet.
So, yeah, interesting.
They do good work.
Hell yeah, they do.
Manga lightsabers.
R.I.P.D. 2, Rise of the Damned. It didn't do too well.
Yeah.
Once I found out that it was a prequel and that none of the returning cast
Couple
members are
of
coming
things
back,
missing from it.
I
Yeah.
also noped right out of it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it seems like we made a wise choice of not watching this film.
Yeah.
Universal Studios didn't even break even on the original film. I have no idea why they threw this much money at a prequel film that
Did it
nobody...
even go to cinema?
I don't think so. No,
I think it went straight to streaming eventually.
Yeah,
it may
'cause,
have gone to a
like,
few
I
cinemas in
didn't
America.
even know there was going to be a sequel because the first
But,
one did so badly anyway.
But yeah, RIPD2, skip it.
Shame.
Well, speaking of second films as well, I don't know whether we're going to want to skip or not, based on your evaluation of Kevin Smith's track record.
You alright?
Kevin Smith's talking about Tusk 2 and now Red State 2.
So
I'm all in.
Tusks.
They apparently
I did this
approached
last
Kevin
month,
Smith
I
like,
think.
we're going to do Red State. And so, in Kevin's words, they were like, if we do this, would you want to do it again? And I was like, yeah, in a heartbeat. I mean, obviously, Michael
In a
Parks is
tote
gone,
bag. He was like,
but it's just a story of crazy
okay.
people with guns and shit like that.
In between these.
As long as I could use John Goodman again, I could make 100 fucking
John
Red
Goodman
States.
in.
And I'm like, let's do it. So we're going to do one.
I'm hoping they actually go with the ending that they were going to go with the ending of the first one.
100%.
I'm hoping they do
fucking
that.
rapture
Yeah,
happens.
the
Right.
rapture
Yeah.
happens. And it's just heads exploding, chests exploding,
It's,
fucking horns blaring.
It's interesting though when he's saying he could use John Goodman again. So I guess it's more like when it says about Red State, it's just following that character.
Yeah.
On a different kind of
A different setup, different
right.
location.
It's
the same deal.
I
different
love
day.
Red State, but
Yeah.
this is the thing with Kevin Smith is like what he struggles with is when Red State came about because of all the actual Westboro Baptist Church actually attacking him.
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
really, he had all this inspiration in death threats coming
Yeah.
at him
Yeah.
all fucking day, so
Yeah.
that's why he wrote it. Same with Tusk, it all came about from the podcast and the Walrus Yes and the advert. So it's like he had these really nice organic perfect
Ideas.
little storms that happen.
Yeah.
When you just try and sequelize that, normally you get Blair Witch Book of Shadows.
Yes, yeah, or something completely unrelated.
Yeah,
nothing
so I'm
close
looking
to.
forward to it. I am, especially
Yeah.
more Tusk 2. Red State 2, I'm like, oh, don't fuck that one up because I like Red State.
yeah.
But I think it's a
It won't-
genuinely good movie.
It won't
but
tarnish Red State because you'll just be able to sit there and like we said
like,
with
if
Clerks.
it is
in
just,
Clerks
oh,
2,
this is
you're like,
John
look,
Goodman's character, and don't even call it Red State 2, but we all fucking know in the viewers
Red
universe
States.
who it is.
Yeah, Red State.
Fucking genius. Like, give that man a fucking producer credit. But
But
yeah,
how's-
so
but
I do worry about that when you try and just force a sequel.
How is he gonna beat Michael Parks' fucking
No, mate.
performance?
They
You
gotta
get
find
Johnny
this
Depp
one.
back in.
Liam Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth, of course.
Yeah, Liam
Giant fucking
Hemsworth.
robot.
Yeah. Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Hey,
you know.
dude, he could get Affleck for it.
Affleck is a. Have you ever seen the Last Duel? Fucking Ben Affleck in that was
That was great.
fucking evil. He can do evil. He can
Well, I'll tell you what's going on right now is a petition to have Mads Mikkelsen play the role of the Witcher going forward.
Totally. I
That is
saw
the
the mock-up.
internet's voice
I saw
choice.
the mock-up
yes.
and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, how easy is it to finish on season 3, whatever that story is, and
Yeah.
then go, we're going to jump forward 10 years.
Yeah.
He's been living in a sewer.
Yeah.
And now he looks rough. And now he's older and it's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, also on
His accent's
Mads
changed.
Mikkelsen news, he's going to be working again with Brian
so many people in
Fuller
the sewer.
in a new horror movie, Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny will tell the story of an 8-year-old girl who enlists the help of her intriguing neighbor to kill the monster under her bed that she believes ate her family.
Take
The
my money.
film is being described as a throwback to family horror films of the 80s. Filming will begin in January next year.
Oh, I hope that's gory as fucking scary as fuck.
That sounds amazing.
That better be barbarian levels.
Well,
of
I'm
fucking-
hoping
I was
so.
thinking an
It comes out, it's a
18 version
PG.
of Monsters with Fred Savage.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, he goes in there like, what do you mean they've eaten your parents? And he goes there and the mum's got her head completely ripped off. And Mads Mikkelsen's like,
Oh,
This does sound like something that Nick Cage turned down, though. Where he's like,
yeah.
no, he fucking wrote it.
I think I've gone a bit too hard to paint these
Yeah.
this year. I think I'll let Mads take this one. Yeah.
My wife will only let me do like 5 badass
That
movies
sounds
a year.
great, though, and I hope
Yes,
that is
yeah,
because
I hope.
I hope it's very like where he's from, you know, where it's like maybe got a bit of Scandinavian folklore to it. Because I can't wait for Trolls to come out. In
Yes.
the next
Fuck
couple of
series,
that
yeah.
shit. It looks good, but I wish they'd just carried on from the film and been like, look, the evidence. Instead,
Yeah.
they're just trying to rebrand it.
Dude, they're remaking Godzilla. You seen that footprint?
Godzilla's never been fucking remade. It's just fucking Godzilla all over again.
Netflix has officially renewed Sandman for a second season.
This was not a surprise.
It wasn't left dormant
Well,
for years like we thought it was going to
It
be.
kind of was because they said they weren't
Yeah.
doing it first.
Yeah,
didn't they?
and that was a fucking stupid plan on fucking Netflix's point.
Well, we said
We've
this.
just had this really great show that everyone has been waiting fucking 20 odd years for, and it's come out. People are loving it, so we're going to cancel it because we've
Well,
spent
they
far
didn't
too much
cancel
money.
it. They just didn't renew
Yeah,
it.
they just didn't
That
renew
was
it,
it.
yeah.
They didn't cancel it.
Well,
They just
it
didn't
was
renew
because
it.
it was because people watched it but they didn't binge watch it.
This
They
is
were
why
trying
they
to figure
can't
it out.
afford Cavill. Sorry, Liam. Hemsworth.
But yeah, Neil Gaiman's incredibly excited. The whole team's really hard at work, and he can't wait to deliver those stories. So yeah. If you really
Do you know
enjoyed
what?
Sandman,
Again,
more
I
coming.
loved
said
it.
again. I thought it was
Yes.
like, oh, that was an alright episode. That one wasn't. Oh, that was an alright episode. That one wasn't. But I'm
was
glad
hit
it
and
got
miss episode
renewed
by
because
episode, yeah.
it you know,
Potential
it's got a lot
to
of
go-
places
to get better again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last bit of news for you is that Toho have announced a new Godzilla movie.
I love Toho songs.
This one is was going to be released on the 3rd of November 2023. This will be the first Godzilla film from Toho since 2016's Shin Godzilla. Also, you should know that a
nothing.
sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong is still in the works as well.
it is.
By, I think
Legendary
it's Alex
Pictures.
Wingard.
Yeah,
Godzilla vs. Kong vs.
pictures.
Giant Robot. Which they already did.
They already did.
Fucking, you know, I need to see Shin Godzilla, but like it was.
Is that the one where
Like
Godzilla
he-
beats up the American Godzilla, or was that one earlier?
No. Shin Godzilla is the one where it's
I-
like a completely renewed Godzilla, and he just mutates all the way through the movie until
Yeah,
he's just
I
a
watched it,
radiation fucking monster.
I watched it when I was really
like,
smashed, and
yeah.
I woke up the next day and thought I dreamt it. And I had to
wow.
Google it to
That's
see if
it.
it was
Oh,
a
no,
real
that's what I
movie.
saw.
and I was like,
I've not
Oh,
had
okay.
I've not had the chance to actually watch it myself. I've been meaning to ask you to see if you can see it. But at the same time, I'm not entirely massively on the idea of just watching him fucking mutate and radiate and fucking destroy shit. I want to see him.
You know what you're getting when you watch Godzilla, though, right? You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, but I do like the old classic style of Godzilla makes an appearance, then they're questioning why he's made an appearance, then there's something else going on, and he makes another couple of appearances, and he's fighting something else. You know, he's the hero. I'm not a big fan of the.
Is he really a monster?
Is he really the monster? Are we the monsters? What's the message? Is he just a result of our radiation? I'm
just
just
punch
like,
the big thing.
yeah, I want to see giant robots and fucking giant lizards in real life, and I have to go to a fucking cinema where somebody pulls out their phone halfway through.
You don't want to go and see it in real life, dude, because then it's a serious situation. Like, you're seeing it in real life.
It'd be fun. We're on Facebook before we do it.
That's true.
Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the first part of the podcast.
Yes.
We are going to take a very quick break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about Clerks 3.
Clerks 3.
Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to part 2 of the podcast.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be
Snooty
talking
booties.
about Clerks 3.
Yes.
Just released this year in 2022. Kevin Smith been making films since 1994 with the original Clerks. Of course, we had Clerks 2 in 2006, and now Clerks 3. What did you guys think of Clerks 3?
If I start talking about it, like, I could go on for a while and I might get emotional. So if you want me to go first, I will, just in case. But that's my
Andy.
forewarning.
What did...
Do you want me to go first? I mean, we're all going to chuck in, obviously,
Alright.
but I'll go ahead and
You
say
go,
that
yeah,
I really enjoyed Clerks.
Yes, I did as well.
I am, I said it many times, I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith's stuff. I don't even mind some of his, sort of like, worse works, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a Norman
yeah,
Time to
yeah.
the Viewers universe that I really love, and I follow the podcasts and everything like that. So even the bad stuff kind of feels like, it was made for me anyway, because I'm a fan. So I kind of enjoy it. Struggle with Yoga Hosers. That was a tough one, I ain't going to lie.
Yeah.
I still haven't gone anywhere near that one.
No, you're okay.
I saw
you're
the
okay.
trailer for it and I was like...
But as a obviously this is him now. This might be all you get from him is just I survived a heart attack and I'm every movie may be my last and you're gonna
Living
know
on
about
my
it. You
laurels.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I completely appreciate people's opinion on that. But as an actual closure to the story of those characters, as a film from a writing standpoint, I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of his best, personally. you know what I mean?
Yeah, I will totally agree with that. When it was announced that Clerks 3 was going to be made, I was like, oh, here he goes. He's making another Tusk, another Yoga
This has been in
Hosers.
development hell as well, hasn't it? Because
It's
like
been in
it's
development hell.
gone through. It was going to be a musical at one point, you know.
Well, like who were the original owners of Clerks? The original distribution, was it?
well,
Miramax.
Miramax, yeah.
And Miramax was
Well,
Weinstein.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we've just gone through all that shit where now, personally, this is what I was thinking when I was watching Clerks 3 is, he's not got the backing of any studio at the moment. He's literally just making these
but
movies.
he owns those characters. though.
He owns those
He
characters.
doesn't own the
and he has-
distribution rights for like Dogma and stuff, which is why
That's
he
But
can't
right.
get it.
he,
anyway.
so and this one, and he knows the business. So I'm sat there, I'm watching Clerks 3, a movie that I will just say I never ever thought I'd get a second one, and I never thought I'd get a third one.
I didn't want a second one.
yeah,
Really.
didn't-
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
it
don't
was-
sequelize it. But
It was
I was
just
like,
a
"How
thing.
about
But the fan base has always said that. The fans are always saying, when are you going to make another one of this? When are you going to make another one of that? And
Well, it was the fact that because he kept continuing to make movies,
Yeah.
and Clerks was the one that started it all, and because there was a Clerks 2, it was like, okay, now you've gone off and made Zack and Miri and Cop Out and Red State, and you're making an animated Jay and
You're in
Silent Bob
Dire
stuff,
Four.
and now you're doing Tusk. It's just like, where is Clerks 3? And he had the script for it, but it was Jeff Anderson who rejected the script.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not an actor.
no, that's it.
I've got a life and I'm going to go live it. I don't want to do this anymore.
Jeff Anderson, now he's a key character for me for Clerks 3 because, like, as he's just said, Jeff Anderson is not an actor. Jeff Anderson was a guy that was helping Kevin Smith out and played a role and read from a script, and it was so indie and it was so underground and it was so raw that he created a whole character that I honestly fell in love with because just the way he spoke and the way he carried himself off and how
It
confident
was
he
an
was.
extension of Kevin Smith
He
himself.
is-
Well,
he-
Kevin Smith said that he was going to play him, which is why
Yeah.
Randall's got all the best lines.
He is the
Yeah.
anti-hero, you know, same as Jay is for Silent Bob.
It's kind of mostly a dick. It's a lovable dick.
You know, and so what? After the first one, Jeff Anderson's just like, I'm off, and every now and again, Kevin Smith's like, oh come on, I'll just pay you some money, come in, just do this little.
Yeah,
part.
he did Zack and Miri,
You know,
didn't
he's
he?
in Zack
Yeah.
and Miri,
Yeah.
he's in Dogma, you know. But
Of course he is. Yeah, he's a bartender.
when I watched it, so
Well,
Clerks
he's not.
2 comes out, and I'm like,
Sells a gun.
okay,
Yes.
he's still definitely not an actor because this movie is not hitting the high marks. It's Jay and Silent Bob's movie as well as it is Dante and Randall's movie. This one is primarily a Dante Randall movie, but it's telling you Kevin Smith's story.
Yes, and that was the thing that really put me off with this film, watching it, because there was a huge meta disconnect that I had watching it, where I was like, oh yeah, these are not actors playing the parts of the film. These are these real people that are making the movie Clerks within the movie Clerks 3.
Yeah.
And for me, my brain, like, even though I understand it, my brain just kept...
You're doing the South Park bit. It's like, it's a taco in a burger in an ice cream.
Yeah, so my brain just kept... And I had to keep
But it made
triggering myself back into going, oh, it's a film within the film, it's fine. But it honestly kept making me disconnect
Right.
from the fact that it felt like this was a film in a film universe. And so when things happened to these characters in the film, it didn't feel real because it felt like that was the metaverse. And so I honestly was just so you know, and there's also many moments in the film where Randall will say something and the camera will cut to Kevin like, that was me. And I was just like, oh, fucking
But that
hell.
was
Like,
already there in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You know, this movie
It's also-
incorporates
yeah,
all
yeah.
of the skills that Kevin Smith has picked up over the last 20, 30 years. Starting, and I totally get what you mean, but I think I was the complete opposite. So, like I said, Jeff Anderson is playing Randall. He's writing the story about himself doing these things that actually Dante does in the first movie, which actually is Kevin Smith's imagination from what he was working in the convenience store.
It's funny as well because I didn't feel that disconnect personally to
Okay.
the whole meta thing of it. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean,
I
I'm
totally
usually
get
totally
where you-
fine with that sort of type of stuff, which is why I was so.
But
That's why I felt it was peculiar because I need to mention it because normally I'm fine with meta stuff.
Yeah.
Totally fine with it, but for this film, it didn't gel. The gel was missing, or it didn't feel cohesive. Where I kept having those jarring moments of, oh, this callback, that's a flashback, that's a nod to, yeah, and it was just
Yeah, like
too much.
I mean,
Well, I
spoilers.
mean, the fact that, what was it? I think every scene of Clerks that they show in the movie, because obviously they show the movie Clerks within Clerks 3.
Yeah.
I'm only
Which is the
building-
confusing
I'm
thing
only
as well,
building on
yeah.
your point here,
Yes,
really. But you
They're trying
have
to guess the bit.
you see an updated version of it. Like you even see the scene of the little girl putting
With the cigarette,
You,
yeah,
you see her all
boy,
grown up, you
yeah.
know. But again, I'm watching it and I'm going, oh, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Shit.
Oh, no, I loved all that stuff too.
I
Yeah.
love all that.
I
You
loved
know,
it,
I
loved all that.
loved all the family cameos. And again, I think I said when we briefly talked about it last month, I think I said that when I was watching it with Donna, I'm the asshole that has to point out all these little
the
things. So
connections.
it's like the very end where it fucking Harley is pulling the milk out, doing the milkmaid thing.
Yeah.
That was obviously her grandmother in the original. You know,
That's right, yeah.
Fuck it. I mean, to start talking on some of the scenes of it, there's a gut punch. When I first watched it, this was an absolute gut punch of a scene where Dante is talking. You find it spoilers for this.
Yeah,
by the
if
way.
you've not seen
Spoilers.
Clerks 3 at this point,
Yeah.
you're
So
either
obviously,
not
you know, in
watching
Clerks
it
2,
or
he
you're
ended
going to
up
watch
going
it.
with Rosario Dawson's character Becky.
Yes.
When he takes Randall into the hospital, because you don't see her at the very start, you see a in memoriam and she's dead, and you're like, "Fuck! They just killed her off screen. What the fuck?"
I was like,
Yeah.
"Jeez, is the budget that low?
Yeah, and I
is
was
she
like,
too busy with Star Wars?"
and I didn't know what to go. But anyway, so then you do see her come into it in a flashback. You only ever see her in like dream sequences, whatever you can call it. Dante takes Randall to a hospital, and then he sees Becky being wheeled in. You're like, "Oh shit, something happened." But then
Drunk
what
driver.
you get, you find it was a drunk driver. But then later, what you get is a scene where he visits her grave, and she just out of the blue just drops a line where she's like, "I know you're mad that this happened to me and Grace." And one, you realise she was pregnant when she died,
Yeah.
and he named the kid after his mother. And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you son of a bitch, right in the fucking heart." Do you know what I mean?
At the same time, balancing that with the fact that she has just talked about how in the
That's it.
afterlife
I mean,
it's all
she's just having
sex.
sex with everyone.
She's
I
just
was
having
like,
sex
that
with
is
all
such
these
a
different
fucking
people.
Kevin Smith scene.
And I'm
isn't it?
like, yeah, this
Absolutely.
is so Kevin Smith just writing
But
it.
I found that the scenes in this movie that had to show heart really fucking
Yes. Yeah,
did. Really
I've
did.
that from somebody else
that
as well.
Scene,
Just
the
hard.
bit where Randall and Dante watch Clerks together, and the Way of the Water, whatever it's called, is playing the Gerard Way version from My Chemical Romance, which they used in Tusk as well. That's playing, and then you move into spoilers.
Cry.
Dante dies, and then you
cry.
move into fucking Randall dropping the "You're not supposed to be here today." That's it. I'm God. I thought it was such a beautifully shot sequence. Dante watching himself watch the movie, his reaction. So I really do think that Brian O'Hanlon, it was some of his finest acting, personally. And then Becky turns up and they get up and leave before the end of it, and she's like, "You really gonna leave before the end of the movie?" And then he dies before the end of the movie. I was like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" Like, it was so good. Donna loved every minute of that. So I honestly do think that sequence, any sequence, when they needed to make it. When they needed to be like, "No, we're not going to be funny right now. We're ending this." I thought they did a wonderful job of it. That being said, I thought some of the jokes were really fucking funny.
I thought they were hit and miss. I thought, some of the jokes were really funny.
Well, some of them you've heard a million fucking
exactly,
times.
because they
use the same shit in
reused the same
Clerks.
jokes. There was honestly one joke
at one
or
point,
one
he's
reference.
literally like, "Remember when that guy died in the bathroom? Remember?
Yeah.
You know, from the first one." It's like, all right, Kev. Yeah. You know?
There was one gag. I can't recall it, but there was like an older woman. She says something, and there was just this moment of silence. And I'm like, is there a reference or a joke there? I just have no idea what that was.
I mean, it may have been. I don't know what bit it is, but yeah, there may have been, because there were so many in jokes. I mean, I was saying to you earlier, there's the bit where Jason Mewes Jay starts arguing with dudes like, "Yeah, Tom, you fucked it up again." That's from an actual bit where when he was all fucked up, he started yelling at a guy on set, and the guy was like, "I'm gonna kick your fucking ass."
And for me as well, like I said, I sat down to watch it after the wrestling. I fell asleep. I woke up as Dante passes away and Randall showing him the movie, and I was just like, I got to watch this tomorrow from the start. So I rewatched it, but in my head, I just knew this death sequence was coming up. Everything else leading up to that, like the arguments between the two of them about whose day it is and all this kind of stuff, I already knew where the story was going to go out. Like,
and that was kind of like an extension of what they did in the second one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. But for me as well,
blowout, I guess.
From a personal experience, it was like, okay, I was watching it just before I was about to hit 40. I've been following Kevin Smith practically all of my life. You know, at one point, this guy was, you know,
I mean, he's like
would
10
have died,
years ahead of us, isn't he?
you know,
Yeah,
and we wouldn't have had these movies. So everybody acting in these movies, like with Jeff Anderson, at this end sequence where he's crying over his buddy dying, it's like, we're never going to film this again. We may, if the check's big enough, you know, and a studio picks us up.
I want to see the
you know,
porn
they can
movie
do-
of Rosario Dawson in heaven just banging dudes.
They can do whatever as long as Kevin Smith gets the back in. But as I started to come to realize, like, you're either a Kevin Smith fan or you're not. You know, like, everybody will go to the cinema and just watch everything, but when a Kevin Smith movie drops, you're like, I'm either a fan of his,
He's quite polarizing.
and
I'll
I'll hit it, you know, or I'm not, and, you know, I just know that the same jokes are going to come out. I want to see more Jay and Silent Bob, you know? I've been loving them since I was in my fucking my teens.
I don't
man.
mind
like seeing him
James
in
Silent Bob
cartoon.
in.
I'd like him in
projects,
cartoon.
I just don't want it when there's the
'Cause they are-
centerpiece of it.
It's not just some Donna. I think when watching this, they're like, oh, they're getting too old to do this Jay and Bob thing right now. So what's
Yeah.
really funny is
Same
that
as Triple H
well, no,
and
but
Shawn
what-
Michaels are
yeah,
trying
well,
to do
that,
the
yeah, I don't
DX
want to see
thing.
them wrestle again. But what's really funny is I was like, it's funny looking at him because Jay looks so different because he's got his teeth all fixed and he's got
Yeah.
really obvious
You can
horse
feel a
teeth
lisp
in.
every
And you
now
can
and
see
again.
he's struggling to talk. But then what cracks me up about is, like, you know, there they are, like, living in New Jersey, except for Kevin Smith's amazing LA tan that he's walking around with. He looks like a walnut. Like, you know, literally, it was really funny. Like,
from all the walking.
I will say, actually, the weak point of the movie for me was the Elias and Blockchain characters, because I really liked Elias in 2. I thought he was
Right.
funny as fuck. And I
He felt like a different character in the third one.
He felt like he
different
just
character.
got added. No,
he
but
had
I
a
think
different outfit.
And
every
well, yeah,
scene
that
yeah.
was cool.
in.
And listen, Blockchain, who is that's Harley's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think
his
so. His
son-in-law,
acting
I
was
was
so
like,
bad.
oh, he just doesn't need to be in this. And granted, they gave him the Silent Bob role as well.
Yeah.
That, ironically, the bit at the end where he opened his mouth fucking made me laugh. Where he was like, yeah, kites, bitch, we're rich, and all
Yeah.
this stuff. I was like, the fact that he shouted that, at his mother-in-law, I was like, respect.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know,
I'm like, oh my god.
it reminded me of the Key and Peele, like, you said bitch.
But yeah,
But as
I
I,
agree,
thought they were the weak link, and I
Yes,
also
I
think
do
that
agree.
he was like almost like maybe halfway through writing and gone, Elias, I need to put him in here somehow, and just
used it too
It was
much.
it was a nice way to end and go like, oh, we got all this money, so we say it's Scooby Doo
Yes,
ending everyone.
yeah.
That was it.
That was
No,
alright. But you could have done that a million different ways.
But the thing, I honestly like. I want to go back to the death scene again. Just go back a little bit because
Dante's or
I was fine with Clerks 3. Like, yeah, it had some highs and it had some lows.
Yeah.
So overall, I was just kind of like okay on the film, but I did not envision the death of one of the characters to come at the end of the film, and I was just like, to me it just felt like Kevin Smith was making a movie. And so something dramatic has to happen in a movie for it to be a movie. And so he was like, I need to have something dramatic happen to make this movie mean something, to have this moment that everyone's going to talk about happen at the end.
He has been trying to kill him off since
the first movie. That's what I was about to say.
I know he has.
Yeah.
But no, that was the thing. When he made the first movie, it's my first film. I'm a director. I need my film to have an impactful ending so people remember it. And when the people were watching it, they're like, no, you don't need that, Kevin. You don't need that. You have the strength of your own film stand on its own. And people loved it and gravitated towards it. If they killed him off in that one, would it have gone like it?
I think because
It
the
would have
original
been
one, it was
Yes,
a much
yes,
more
he made-
sudden.
yeah.
It was such an outlet. Whereas you telegraph that Dante's going to die from the minute the doctor is like, you need to look after your friend, and by the way, you're fucked too.
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
what, me? He's like, yeah. And you can see,
I
and the fact that he's
just,
like
like-
talking to his dead wife, like, I just want to be with you. I'm
It's-
like,
yeah.
from 10, 15 minutes in, I'm like, oh, you're fucking.
It was just
you're
coupled
gonna
with
die.
the fact that Kevin Smith in all of the interviews, like, I had a heart attack and I'm going to get to make films, and this is all about still being able to be proactive in your life at the age of 50 plus. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then that's all we kept hearing, and then that's all we kept hearing in the film Clerks 3 as well.
Yeah.
So for them to actually then kill a character with the heart attack at the end, it was just like, oh, like, no, you've lost me as an audience. I was already getting annoyed with the meta stuff.
How would you?
No,
how would you end it?
it ended beautifully. I don't get me wrong. The cinematography, the performances, the music, the pacing, beautiful. Wouldn't change it. I just didn't want it in this film. I just didn't. I would have been very happy with them of just like closing the shop at the end of a day. You know, it didn't need to be film dramatic moment.
I feel though, like as he kind of spun it as like, you know, this is going to be the third and final one. If you do that, close it at the end of the day, people are like, oh, he's just going to make another 4.
But yeah, exactly.
You know?
And so by killing off Dante,
Stallone's been trying to kill Rocky off
To
since
me,
like
it was
4
just
or
way
5.
too dramatic a moment to have happen in Clerks.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean,
yeah.
and like I said, I'm the complete opposite. Like I said, I fell asleep. I saw the death sequence first, and then I had to rewatch the whole film before getting back to the sequence.
You like wake up like, oh, spoilers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I mean, I'd already wikied it before as well. But the fact
course.
I had so much fun. There's only 2 moments in the film that really I can't. Even if I rewatch the movie, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? The rest of the movie, I had so much fun just thinking about how much fun he was having.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how the studio isn't really involved, and he's doing it off his own back, and he's got all of his friends back. I mean, at one point we've got Sarah Michelle Gellar saying,
I know.
Oh, that cameo, that string of cameos.
I'm like,
was
First
brilliant.
time in a movie
fucking
in over
Sarah
15
Michelle Gellar,
years.
It's the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. is actually like, hey, Freddie Prinze Jr. And they're like, yeah.
I love the sailboat guy.
Oh, Ethan Suplee coming back, yeah.
But the moment
And looking so fucking good as well.
when Randall goes to the hospital at the beginning, and it's obviously he's had the heart attack at first, and so that's why he's going to make the movie. Like the 2 music moments in that, I'm like, why did you leave those songs to play? Is it a new thing in America? Like they've got
like you
music
said about it
playing
playing
over
through the
tannoy?
entire sequence.
Yeah, they like this. You had this one song play all the way through the sequence with Justin Long, all the way through until the song finished, and they carried
Justin
on
Long
talking.
is great and everything.
And I'm
He
like,
is.
I'm like, hold on, there's no more music coming back, or that's the end of the song? Like, what?
Yeah,
and I'm
I
listening
felt
to
that
Justin
too,
Long.
Ian.
And then the next sequence, we're in the waiting room. They start playing this music in the background. Where I'm like,
Yeah,
we're still in this.
I felt like they left the music in there is because the I think he struggled to open the film, and so like the extended entire music video that intros into the film, but then the
I
song's
really
still
like that
playing.
scene though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was just
I
like
like that.
it didn't. The film
Jay and
didn't.
Bob do the Blues Brothers bit with the fucking briefcase. That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was cool. That was really cool. But yeah, but it was too long. It was too long, and the music played
Was
on
it-
in the
do you know
scene
what?
when the
It was too
dialogue
long for a
started,
Kevin Smith
and so it
movie.
didn't. It
Yeah,
felt,
that's
yeah,
why.
It
Yeah.
felt,
It feels
yeah,
like
it
it's been
does.
cut.
It felt like the intro then, because the same song was playing into the hospital scene, and the first scene had started, but the music's still going. It just felt it felt sloppy.
I do wonder if like because he's obviously like an almost self-taught director. Like, you know, he basically just worked and figured it out and stuff like that, and ended up with basically no style at all, which became his style. But I do wonder if because he goes back to these different, even though it's all within the same View Askew universe.
Yeah.
You know, Clerks is very much on a track here, and then you'd have like, you know, other bits as well. But I do wonder if like because he sort of like he learns all these different things, he just sort of like, oh, I've learned this now from working on Supergirl, so I'm gonna put this into my Clerks franchise, even though it's like, well, now it's unrecognizable to a lot of people because obviously Clerks has a very distinctive feel, which he does a fucking frankly hilarious commentary on in the movie about why
it's going to be in black and white. Yep.
Oh, I ain't shooting it, motherfucker. It was really, that fucking popped me, that line, actually. I'm shooting it black and white. I ain't shooting it. So then when he moves on, as much as it's like, yeah, you want a filmmaker to grow and to learn new ways of doing stuff, you're like, well, it's so distant from what, you know, you think it was done by a totally different director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not. And for it being his universe, I guess a lot of people, that's going to move a lot of people away.
Well, I just love the fact of going back through his list. Like we said, you know, if we go back to Clerks 1, Mallrats was fucking just phenomenal. But then Chasing Amy comes along, it's completely different.
Mallrats is kind of like the better version of Jay and Bob Striking Back, like that whole run around comedy.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's because it's not featured on them.
Yes, yeah.
It's their part of it.
Yeah, but like Chasing Amy comes along, and people at that time, people were just
Chasing
like,
Amy's
"Oh
a
no,
wonderful
he'll,
movie.
Yeah,
he'll
I agree,
he'll
yeah.
never make another movie again because Chasing Amy just fucking shit. What the fuck was that whole monologue from that guy who fucking doesn't say anything throughout the movie? Then he sits at that table and does that whole story about some girl. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. I watched Chasing Amy.
Did
and
that
I'm like,
bomb though? I don't remember if that.
well, it didn't do well because Dogma was the bigger hit that came out soon after.
Well, no, but if he
Chasing
got the
Amy
money,
is one of the
didn't he
highest
get,
rated
didn't
of
he
his
get the
films.
money for Dogma because of Chasing Amy?
Yeah.
I don't know 100%. I'm just.
I mean, the only time I saw Chasing Amy was when it came out, you know, VHS, and I was heavy into
same,
Kevin
'cause it
Smith,
didn't get a
but
big
nobody
release
I
over here,
knew
did it?
was like, oh man, you've got to watch Chasing Amy. It's the 90s comedy fucking, late 90s fucking comedy. But Dogma comes out.
Hey, look, it's hard to argue that his first run of movies is his best work.
Yeah, well,
but
Dogma actually had a proper good cinema run. I mean, I saw it twice in the cinema, and it was like
Fucking
Kevin Smith's
loved
like the
Dogma
biggest
when
next
it came
director.
out.
And then what do we have after that? We have Jane Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah,
Which-
that for me was the beginning of the end.
See, now, for you, that's what. For me, I thought it was fucking outstanding. I'm like, but this is what we've been asking for since fucking Morats and Chasing Amy, right?
Again, do you know what?
We've
I'll
been
give
wanting
him
more Jane
pause for
Silent Bob.
changing the style so much
Yes.
to go to that slap.
Jersey Girl, I heard it was so bad. I sat down. I love Jersey Girl. I fucking
I enjoyed Jersey Girl. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that because they got rid of
It was-
J-Lo right at the start. So now
They- yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it was.
I was like,
around
oh
the time when they
no,
had
oh
the
it's
bad
fine, she died.
relationship.
Spoilers. everyone, sorry.
But like I said, after Chasing Amy, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it was right or not. But after Chasing Amy, people saying, "Oh, he's not going to make another good film." Same thing with Jersey Girl. He's not going to make another good film.
Well, Jersey
Red
Girl
State,
got
he's not
the
gonna
ass
make
kicked
another
out of
good
it for
film.
the whole Ben and J-Lo bust
Yeah,
up. Was
'cause that
bigger
was-
than the movie. It was a shame.
Everybody
because
was
George
commenting
Carlin's
on
in
that.
that bitch.
But
Yeah.
his writing, him getting the performances. I mean,
I really think that Jersey
Like-
Girl is one of his best films. Actually, now I think about
like-
it, it's really good.
Zach and Miri make a point of like, did he write it?
Yes.
And that's why
Yes,
it has
yeah.
such good funny moments with all of his good
But it's
his
not-
friends.
Oh, he
Same
did-
with
no,
Jeff
wait.
Anderson.
I don't.
I
I
think
don't know
I
if he
did
did.
he- like
Wasn't that the start of the studio thing?
It was
Because like
definitely-
obviously Cop Out was he directed it, weren't his movie, he didn't write it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
But
I
Cop
think
Out's
Zach
got some
Amiri
good
might
moments.
be a different. I don't know if that was his production company or whatever. I think he was working for.
I
another
don't.
studio.
Yeah, I don't think it's View Askew, but like I said, for me, people were saying that he was bombing like so early into his career to then get to Clerks 3, which potentially we could have never got anyway. Knock on wood again. I keep saying that was shit. Like I said, I just got so much behind the heart behind it. It was Kevin Smith making this film.
Yeah.
It came out in like we had it come out in the cinema near us that we just never go to, so I never went.
Which
And that's on me. Like it came out in the Cineworld,
what did?
Clerks 3.
Oh, not here. It didn't.
No, you could.
The
Oh,
closest
yeah,
one for
no,
us was
yeah,
Exeter.
I was gonna say,
it's like
yeah.
it's like an hour away to go
Yeah.
see it, and I was like, I can find it online quicker.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. But fuck, I'll buy the Blu-ray of it. I don't give a shit because I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. Did you see Jane Silent Bob the reboot?
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I mean, I watched it.
I'd say that Clerks 3 is much better than that reboot movie.
sure.
I,
I
that
really love
reboot
that
movie I thought was dreck. I thought it was... I honestly, I was like, now that Kevin Smith doesn't have Miramax with him, I don't know whether it's, it's not the Weinsteins, whatever, but I don't know what other producers, I don't know whether was it Scott Mosier, is it?
Scott Mosier, yeah.
Scott Mosier?
Well, I mean, he's gone
I-
on to be a really.
Yeah.
It's ironic that he's probably already made more money as a director than Kevin
Kevin
Smith.
Smith, yeah,
'Cause he did
yeah.
the Grinch for a
That's
start.
right, yeah.
And that
so
was fucking excellent.
I don't know why, but I don't know if there's somebody who's no longer around Kevin to rein him in a little bit, or
I would
or
think
to
maybe-
work with him. I don't know, because it just
Maybe
feels like
the studio, but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, because it does feel like Kevin's. I mean, I still love what he does. I love the man. I love watching him in interviews, podcasts, all that stuff. But I honestly, I think the criticisms being levied at some of these films are really genuine criticisms, and I think he's gotten sloppy as a filmmaker. I don't know whether he's just.
I think I'm just in the camp of like. I'm really happy that he clearly gets to make whatever film he wants to.
Yeah,
but without being
that's
funny,
it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd say Jordan Peele is the same.
True.
And
Yeah.
not as many people complain about him because Nope was a fucking heinous piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
haven't seen it yet.
but I'm glad that he got to make that movie,
Yeah.
and clearly I was like, oh, no one said
know,
shit to you, did they?
It's funny.
Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
always
I
really-
love
I'm
that
always
Kevin is
really
still
impressed
here.
that anyone
he
is
didn't
able to
die,
do that.
Jordan
and he's able
Peele
to
is
keep
a-
making movies.
Jordan Peele's a good example because like he's done what 3 movies at the moment in his career.
Yeah.
He's done Get Out,
Yeah,
he's done Us, and
yeah.
No.
But he's
Every-
also done a lot of other
Every
stuff.
single one I've heard this kind of the same thing along with Kevin Smith's career is, oh, it's really good, nah, it's shit, he's never going to make another movie. Us comes out, it's really good, fucking it's shit. It's same with No, but it's good at shit. But he's made his own movie. He's he's got
Yeah,
his own crew
absolutely.
together. He's
Absolutely.
put the story out and he's just gone bang. And it's original. Like I said, with going back through a lot of Kevin Smith's films, they're original.
Well, like he says, he just wants to write stories about him and his friends.
Yeah, but that's it. Like,
which he's still doing, to be fair to him.
Yes.
You know,
He's got a lot more famous friends now.
James Gunn should get him in for the next Superman movie.
so Superman can hang out outside of the shop. It's so weird.
Oh, I mean, like, they look at that. Kevin Smith was going to make that Superman movie with Nicolas Cage.
No, he did do. Well, he's going to do Bizarro. Nick Cage is going to be Bizarro.
But James Gunn, do Bizarro.
Well, that's obviously he is talking because I know that they've had him. It started because he was on one of his podcasts, like James Gunn, and they were talking about working together there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does get involved in it.
I would totally watch a DC Bizarro.
Yeah, but do you know what's really funny is again that would probably be a good example. It probably would be really good because he would have to be like he would have some people. Most James Gunn. Whoa. You can't kill Bizarro off in the last episode in the last shot. Like you know.
Kryptonite bullet. He saved Superman's life. Yeah, you know it. Jay's all about Bloodman Chronicle in it.
Not on my watch. Jay just sprays the place, but there you go.
Well, Ian, what were your favourite scenes from Clerks 3?
Man,
if you can remember any.
I really, like I said, I really love that fucking final sequence where he's talking to Dante in the bed and he's showing him the movie that they've completed. Like, I'll be personally honest, it was like looking at like the reviews that we've done, you know, and like this journey of these guys, these characters, like Jeff Anderson. Not a classically trained actor, hasn't fucking held any roles, but he was fucking crying his fucking eyes out. Like, that could have been Vicks underneath his eyes. But, like, I fully believed it, that he was watching his friend die. I loved the whole cameo sequence with all the stars come in. They're trying to, you know...
Audition for the film.
Audition for the different movies. I totally agreed. It was a bit jarring in places, and I didn't really understand what the fuck was going on, but I always loved when Elias came on the screen. And I kept trying to be like, where the fuck are you from? And then I remembered that he used to do from Clerks 2. But the different outfits. The you know, fucking Harley Quinn's fucking boyfriend.
Blockchain.
You know,
which I had to write down because I was like, what the fuck is he called Blockchain?
You know, all coming in. I knew that their story bit was going to be completely stupid because it was the same with Clerks 2. You know, and secretly it's the same with Mallrats, and it's the same with fucking Dogma, that you've got this really stupid element that keeps the film going and gets to the end. And it just ended really nicely. Yeah.
I like
Andy,
that.
Your favourite scenes?
I love that in that sequence he has the dude who did the voice of He-Man in his Masters of the Universe series.
Yeah.
You know, that was really good. Look, apart from the ones we've already talked about, obviously, because my favourite scenes were all the ones that fucking made me blub, I suppose. But I did really enjoy the scene with Mark Bernardin is in it for a minute with his wife and kid who were there to like review the. It's when Dante has his big meltdown. Yeah, she's the woman stood in the back, you know.
Oh
sort of
yeah.
Like, oh man, you can act like shit, you know, like fucking, which is again just fourth wall breaking. But I really enjoyed Randall talking to Amy. Is it Sedaris? You know, who plays the doctor. Dr. Leidenheim, who's again, I'm going to be that asshole. The name of the doctor who really saved him and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And the fact that he's fucking explaining the plot of The Mandalorian to her, and she's in it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Is this some kind of Star Trek or something?" He's like, "No, wars, man." But
meanwhile, she's dressed like the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, as well. Like, it's just so funny. But one bit that I really did love, one line that he gave him when he gives him the laptop to watch, when he says, "You're not Dak, you've always been Luke."
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, that's,
knew that from the beginning.
That's
and just
such
knew
a
it from
nice
the beginning.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, there was quite a few memorable moments, but yeah, the orgy that she's having in heaven, that conversation at her gravestone, like, because mostly when you have your character who's mourning their dead loved one who's in the afterlife, and they come down from on high to go, there, it's okay, live your life, move on.
You won't see Rocky saying that reading the paper to Adrian, would you?
Exactly.
Adrian's like, "I'm sucking dick."
I was like, it was a brilliant parody and contrast to all ghostly conversations at Tombstones that only Kevin Smith could have written. I was like, yeah, that made me laugh out loud. It's like, did not see that coming. And yeah, the scene at the end with the two of them, because that was the thing that upset me the most going into this film. I obviously had no idea.
Yeah.
That Rosario Dawson character was going to be dead.
No, I didn't know.
So the moment that she appeared in the film, I was like, "Oh, you are here!"
The price tag on Rosario Dawson is...
They got her for a day, right?
She tagged along with Amy Sedaris. But do you know what? Actually, one thing I forgot about is when they're shooting the scene where Randall and Dante are driving. It's the funeral scene where they're driving in the car. Yeah. And if you remember, it's real shaky camera. And they cut to Jay and Bob, and obviously Kevin Smith, Bob is working the camera. He's doing this. Because that's what it looks like. It's like, who's holding this fucking camera while you turn? And they show the scene later again, obviously. It really does look like he's doing that. But he's got a big smile on his face. It just that popped me. That just made me laugh. It was funny.
Ian, do you recommend Clerks 3?
I do, but personally, it's from a personal level. I've loved Clerks from the first time I watched it, and I've loved the Jay and Silent Bob characters, and I think I've always loved Kevin Smith's writing, but I know he's hit and miss, and you're either a fan or you're not. If you're a fan, you're just going to watch it because you're just going to watch it. If you're a fan that's dropped out, then stay dropped out, because honestly, I don't think he's going to get any better.
I don't think you can even recommend Kevin Smith movies in a way now if they're based on the viewership. Like, Tusk was a good example, and Red State definitely of one where it's like, oh, watch this new Kevin Smith film. Oh, I don't like his films. Like, don't worry about it.
Man,
if you're saying you don't like the Viewer's universe,
yeah.
don't worry
These are
about
separate,
it. Like, just watch it totally separate.
That's it. Yeah. Like, but if somebody said to me, like, oh, I really want to watch a 90s movie, I'd be like, watch Mallrats. You know, then go back and watch Clerks. Then go, because Clerks is completely different to Mallrats. Chasing Amy is completely different to that. Clerks 3, though, like, it hit me in some emotional places, and I was finding myself teary-eyed to think that, you know, everything comes to an end, and maybe we get to keep pushing it one more.
This is us
we
all
want
turning
that
40
one
and
more.
thinking we're going to die.
Oh,
soon,
mate, totally. Like, the
you know?
asteroid's going to hit us at some point, the ice caps are melting, fucking energy's going up, but Kevin Smith make another movie, James Bob does another fucking dance with his fucking penis tucked away.
I did like the scene where they've got the mega spliff.
needs more weed.
Yes.
Needs more weed. Yes.
The what was it? Where he says to him about filming in the video store and stuff. He's like, man, there's a fucking video store around here, and he's like, this was the video store, and they're still on the shelves. And he's like,
when they're trying to sell, when he's selling the guy the weed legally, but they make it.
That's how we did it in the 90s, son.
That's how we did it
Cagey
in
as
the
fuck.
90s.
Shit, that was funny.
That was a great moment.
That was brilliant.
Told
dude.
you.
Fuck yeah, I'd recommend it. Do you know what? That whole thing sort of like, dude, you should watch Close 3. I don't like Kevin Smith movies. Fuck you, I'm going to stop talking to you immediately and walk off. I don't care. It's great. I'm going to watch it again tonight. Fuck it.
That needs to go on the cover.
Yeah.
You watch that and then you double back it with Harold and Kumar.
Why? That's so random.
They're stoner movies.
It's not a movie.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck it. We're doing that. It's Christmas time, dude. I'll watch Friday after next.
Yeah.
I'll watch Friday after next.
Yeah.
Called her a ho 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 and kept on running.
Well, despite all of the my criticisms of the film, I'm still glad Kevin Smith is still here, still alive, and he's still making movies. And even though he reminds you of this within the film, I'm still glad that we finally got to see it, because it was one of those projects that he wanted to get made even before the heart attack.
I
So
can't wait for Dogma 2 when Loki's like, survived a heart attack, now
Dogmas.
we're coming back to her Dogmas.
Dogmas.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned it, because there is still one thing. Like I think my brain's weird on this one, but I think Clerks 3 would have been so much better if fucking Alanis Morissette was in the film.
Yes.
Like when they're in the hospital.
If he'd have seen her when he was dying.
Yes, I just needed Alanis to come and take Dante away, like, because we're in the View Askew universe, the Dogma universe. Alanis Morissette is God. They talk about God at several moments in the film.
Franchise.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean,
Yes, he does.
He does. He
Yeah, he owns all the characters. He
He's
doesn't
not
own
allowed distribution for it.
That's what he doesn't own. So he can't physically release.
He can't sell
any
it
of them.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, how would he put her in the movie then?
Well, he can
Because he
still do
owns
it.
the characters.
Yeah.
And also
How would he distribute the movie?
because
He owns
the
Clerks 3.
characters.
Yeah.
But
It's Dogma
he
he can't
doesn't own
sell.
the rights to actually release Dogma.
Fuck this shit. Carry on. I'm fucking
So
lost,
basically,
man.
the two writers of Friday the 13th, right?
Right.
What they're
Sony Spider-Man.
One owns Jay,
Sony Spider-Man,
the
yeah.
other owns
Sony
Silent
Spider-Man.
Bob.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, despite what I had to say, I would still recommend Clerks 3. It's a
Silent
comedy.
J,
It's a
multiverse of
comedy
camp,
that
Crystal
will play
Lake.
on your emotional heartstrings. It it's still uplifting despite the drama that occurs in there. There's some really annoying freaking characters. There's tons of nostalgic callbacks. to the other films. If you love Kevin Smith films, then you probably adore or cherish this one. If you're going to be a bit more critical, though, you can be like, his other films are better, but he's made a trilogy now. He has bookended it.
That's true.
And I'm kind of fine with that. Like, Clerks 1 is a masterpiece. It's one of the highlights of 90s independent movies. It told everybody, yet again, like Richard Linklater did, pick up a camera. You can go out there and make a movie. It is possible to do so. Clerks 2, he had all the money in the world to make the film he wanted to make with those two characters. He doesn't quite have the money anymore, but he still proves that he has a passion and a will to want to do this until he drops dead. And it's absolutely awesome that he has a family and friends of making these films. And I'll be watching Kevin Smith until he or I go. So Clerks 3 is absolutely worth a watch. You may have some reservations about it, but if
he's gonna do like threequels and finish trilogies as well, I want Moose Jaws.
Moose Jaws!
Yeah, and I'd love a sci-fi from Kevin Smith.
He's true, yeah.
So Red States in Space.
Jeez.
With, with me, giant robots.
Well,
Iron Bob from Reboot, but giant.
Yes. Jay is the new
Don't
leader.
say that
Jay
doesn't
is the new
sound
Michael
like a Kevin
Parks.
Smith idea either.
Alright,
stay with me.
Stay with me.
well, I hope you will stay with us, chat, because we're going to take a very quick break. But when we come back, we are going to be answering your questions. Don't go anywhere.
Noise.
Well, welcome back to the third part of the podcast, where we're going to be answering your questions.
Yeah,
Q&A.
First question is from Holtz Mason.
What's up, Holtz?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you guys again how much I enjoy your content. I go back and watch some reviews multiple times. For example, Alien and The Thing reviews are two of my favourites. My question is, how long have you all been friends and how did you meet? You definitely seem like long-time pals. I'm sure you've probably said this before and I missed it, so forgive me.
Wow.
No worries, Holtz Mason. We do get asked this question almost every other podcast.
Good,
but as it's our
good job you
50th
enjoy
one-
replaying shit. Go back. Any opposite like other podcasts.
Well, I mean, we can slice it off now because it's at least been 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, we've said this before because me and you knew each other in primary school, so I think we're
You
up
guys
at
are
like
at least
30.
30
We've been up
years.
for 30 years,
25,
30 plus.
30 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ha! Old.
Old indeed.
So basically, primary school, worked close to each other and met in the horrors
Then
of retail.
met through-
Now you know why we like Clerks.
Right.
Yes.
Then all moved in together into the same house.
Yes.
Yep.
And then from the house, we all just went, well, we're going to go off and live our lives. And we never left
These
the
two
city.
went and got married and got kids, and I went,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
And this one's sensible.
Well,
Well, one of us was going to be, and I couldn't sit around with no woman on my lap anymore. You guys were getting all the ladies. And I'm like,
Conan. Fucking
that was the thing. That was the
hear the
thing,
lamentation
really.
of the women.
Like the three of us would go out. I'm the crazy berserker who has to be held back every time because everybody looks at me funny and wants to start fights. And you guys are going off fucking cheering with the ladies and fucking having fun. And you're like, oh, Ian, you gotta settle down.
People, then.
You gotta settle down and get responsible. It's like, all right, okay. And then just look at us. Like 10 years later, it's like, Ian, we should do a
20.
podcast. I'm like,
20
yeah,
years,
it's the
20 years
motherfucking
later, mate.
podcast. You know?
That's like
do a
when it's
fucking
like, do you remember
review show.
1995? Like, yeah, 10 years ago. No, motherfucker. I'm like, oh,
28 years ago.
Oh, that's right. I thought the 80s was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't. So, yeah.
It's been a while, Mason.
It's been a
It's been a
while.
while. Thank you for the question, though.
It's a good stain song.
Chris Edmonds
What up, Chris?
would like to know thoughts on the news of Silent Hill 2 remake and the new film based on that game. Again, we did talk about this last week.
Bring it.
Last month.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
but
but bring
I
it.
think overall we're pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for the game.
Yes, I'm more excited for the game. Yeah.
If
You know
if
what?
the film's good, it'll just be gravy.
I'm honestly, I'm excited in general for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Like, Silent Hill 2, the original, is like a precious, awesome, one of the best video game experiences of my life. So remaking it is kind of like, it doesn't need to be remade. It's like, it does not need a remake. However, there's tons, there's millions of people now that have not played Silent Hill 2. And when that remake comes out, it's going to be their first ever Silent Hill game. And so what a journey to go on.
Totally.
What a world, what an environment, what characters. So I only hope that they honor the original story and characters, and we get a really good psychological horror game. I think Silent Hill 1, everyone praises it as being one of the best video game adaptations. I think it misses the mark drastically. We haven't ever reviewed it, so I've never really pointed the things out. But if you ever watch something like, I recommend Twin Perfect YouTube channel, covered all Silent Hill based stuff. They really break down all the things that Silent Hill, the movie, does that makes you go, that's like the game, when it's not. They'll explain all that for you. And so, yeah, for me, it always feels off. However, Christoph Gans, I like him as a director. Very atmospheric, very creative, very visual director. So, and he's going to do Silent Hill 2, the game, the movie. So not a sequel to his movie, but a movie based on Silent Hill 2 again. I'm like, we definitely don't need that. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I want it to be good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Next question is from David Morris.
What up, David?
Boom! 50! What's been the best, most memorable moment or topic of discussion point for you all? Great achievement, fellas. Here's to the next 50. Fist bumps all around.
Well, you know what? It's been pretty good. What, like over like all the podcasts or just everything on Twitch?
I'm going to say
well,
just
or
podcasts.
just podcasts.
Yeah, because it's the 50th podcast.
Oh man, like
I've really enjoyed the fucking bracket.
The tournament, the cartoon and horror tournament.
They've been fun.
They were great. They were
good.
really two great ones.
Yeah.
I loved the podcast I did without you two. It was great. We had the ladies in.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Okay, yeah.
We talked about Buffy and Angel, and
Buffy and
I had a
Angel.
proper geek out.
Yeah. How many?
Fucking talking.
No, literally.
I was remembering
The
back,
cards. I'm still sour about frickin' He-Man beating Ghostbusters. Like, I just don't get it.
I don't give a fuck.
I still don't get it.
You know,
give a
it's crazy. Like we're on podcast 50. I think we had a podcast about War of the Worlds. I think we had a podcast.
No,
about
it was
Red
underrated
Dwarf.
or TV shows that we like.
You
that
know,
nobody's
yeah,
really
we
watched.
had a podcast about board games. We've had podcasts about
James
music.
Bond.
James
love,
Bond, Metal Gear.
I fucking love our top 10 of the years. That's my
Yep.
Because
Yep.
one, I mean, I know obviously we do it in January and stuff, but
Yeah.
like, you know me for a start. I mean, next month, obviously being Christmas, well, I'll let you tell them at the end, I suppose, what we're going to do, but like, I'm the biggest fucking Christmas fan. I fucking love Christmas. So I love our top 10 of the year and sort of like that, all that whole time. It's just the best fucking time.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. I always look forward to the January ones. It's always because every January, it's like, what's the theme of the podcast? It's like, done. So we've only got 11 more to plan out.
I have to write down 10. Although, like, I've still been writing down sort of like my top 10 of the year, and so far I've got like 20 things on it, and I'm like, shit!
Yeah.
Now begins the
So in
painful-
January we do the honourable mentions, then in February we do the actual.
You look back, most of my top 10's are always the same because I don't do anything.
It's wrestling. It's
It's
what happened in
and
wrestling
video games
20 years
and shit,
ago.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, last time it was like, oh, I rewatched this match with SummerSlam 89. It's really fucking good. Like,
Guess what? I ain't done nothing.
All right. We got two questions. Obviously, we missed a Q&A last month, so
Yes.
some people might have two questions this time around. So we have two questions from Havard Ryan.
What up,
Howard.
Ryan?
First question: if there was a George A. Romero style zombie outbreak, what is your plan, and how long do you think you would survive?
this is easy because we live in Plymouth and we have a Royal Marines barracks really close to us. We go there.
Yes, we're just gonna get there.
No.
Fuck yeah.
No, don't listen to these fools. They get you fucking killed.
We've seen
right?
28 Days Later. We know how that goes.
Right. Yeah, and that's my big problem with that fucking movie. Where it's like, you know, after about a month, the British Army are just going to fucking degrade
Turns
into
into a bunch of
rapists.
rapists. Yes.
So
Fuck off.
Yeah.
obviously, the first thing you got to do is obviously analyze your whereabouts, like where in the building you live and where your local exits. And obviously
Need
where
me,
you
I'll be in
go.
the mess hall.
You do not go to any hospitals, airports, or any major motorways, or anywhere where people will congregate in mass numbers in the first few hours of the infection, because, well, you'll just fucking die. If you even have the chance to get to an airport, get to a boat, and get out of the city, you must have already had a plan of where you're going to go. So, okay, you can go, but everybody else needs to get to the first floor, take out the stairs, localize all of their food and water up into the first floor,
Down to the Winchester. Top answer.
and then wait it out for at least the first week before you start planning out and then going Last of Us scavenger style, fucking building up fortifications and
Hey man, all we
What's
need
up?
to know, right?
Oh, it's Ian. Not much. You're in the first floor of your fucking house still. Dude, I've been at the Marine Barracks for like a week. They have food here and guns. You should totally come here.
Okay, I'll be there. Okay.
And they got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they got Wi-Fi, yeah. You can't even stream shit.
I mean, if they're runners, like we're just thinking, obviously normal walker shamblers.
Yeah.
And as a horde, they're easy to fucking manage into a large number.
Yeah.
If it's
Just
run,
gotta
mate,
shoot 'em in
I'm
the
not, I'm,
head.
I'm
Oh,
not
wait,
being
no
funny,
guns.
but I will do a lot of things to survive. Cardio ain't one of them.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Running,
Rule one.
fuck
Oh.
you.
Like if it's me, my wife, and my son running down the street, and there's fucking 20 fucking runners coming behind us
Oh,
like
yeah,
20
it's
days
so
later.
bad.
I'm like, run! I'll hold them off as much as I can and run back, but then I'll probably end up watching them get eaten because they don't
If it's
stop.
running, it just don't it doesn't matter what plan you got.
Yeah,
It don't matter.
just John Leguizamo it. From
But in Plymouth or in the UK, a lot of buildings are all connected. Now, a lot of the walls are pretty thin as well. So I figured if the zombie apocalypse had gone on, I ain't going outside. I'm going to start tunneling through walls.
I'm a Jean-Claude Van Damme Universal Soldier my shit through here.
yeah, man.
I'm just going to, what's it, Colossus from X-Men? Just, I'm
the
the Juggernaut,
Juggernaut,
bitch!
See, that's after you've destroyed the stairs because you make
Yeah,
your way
yeah.
through
So
the
nothing
buildings.
can get up, and you just do
Yeah.
top floors and sealed stairs. And,
Yeah. You
yeah,
roll cars
but eventually,
out.
yeah, we'll run out of food and stuff, and then
But that's where you branch out. You roll cars out to block the roads, okay? And through the zombies that you kill, you decapitate and you put their heads on sticks. Now the head should still
Gotta
be
have a
alive
deterrent.
if you haven't killed the brain. Now if you put about 10 to 15 along from like a street from house
got to
to
get the
house,
sticks. That's the hard problem.
you gotta get a stick from all the wood that you take from the
At
buildings.
this point,
that
I'm
you
still
bring
living
through.
my best apocalypse
Right,
life
okay,
at the
okay.
Marine Barracks. Just sort
But
of like,
as the
sat there
zombie-
at a telescope watching you chewing on a sandwich like, why is he getting sticks?
Right, hear
What's
me
he
out. Right?
doing?
If you put
hell,
a
we're all
line,
here.
if you put a line of zombie heads right on
This is
sticks
massive.
in a line, I reckon it will deter zombies.
Do you know what? Do you know what a line of something that deters zombies? Marines with SA-80s.
Yeah, right.
All right, give us a call if you
And
do that.
I will call you, and it will be like, the fuck are you doing?
If you
We
get
literally
shot
talked
as
about
you
this on the
drive
podcast.
Wait, as soon as you drive into the Marine Barracks, they will pull out their guns and obviously shoot
Yeah, I'm
them
like,
and try to
shoot
break
them
through.
shambling fuckers over there,
They're,
please.
not, they're running. They're running.
So shooting fast.
Alrighty, next question from Havard Ryan. If
man.
you could revive a TV series that was cancelled or you
Firefly.
thought
Oh,
needed
yeah.
more seasons,
Nice.
which would it be and why? I myself really think The X-Files needs a conclusion.
Oh no way!
I never actually caught up with the modern
No,
X-Files. I
didn't.
stopped in the 90s or so after the movies.
It was all right, but it got
That was
fucking
the
10,
second or third movie.
got
was the
like
last
10
was me out.
seasons and 2 movies.
It's got to be Hannibal. I'm just going to say
Yeah,
Hannibal
yeah,
straight
well,
away. Still want Hannibal.
Nice
I'm
shout.
going to watch it in the Marine Barracks while you're putting sticks together like,
It's
somehow this is going to be a giant robot.
See,
Hannibal season 4, The Puppet Show.
I've grabbed a couple of TV seasons recently and fucking Sledgehammer, the fucking comedy series with the cop. Erie,
yeah.
Indiana, if they really wanted to go with it. And fucking Space Precinct. Jerry Anderson's
Oh,
Space
fuck.
Precinct.
Oh, my God.
Yes, boy.
For me, War of the Worlds, the original show, had
Oh,
2
yeah.
seasons. So it got cancelled, then renewed for a second season, then cancelled. Firefly, Sliders, Angel, the entire Buffyverse.
Babylon 5 would do well now.
That's
I
getting a
reckon.
reboot.
Yes.
So not a continuation, but a reboot. Final Space and Ash
Final
versus
Space.
Evil
Final
Dead.
Space, man. Further too
Oh.
soon, Gary.
Man, these are the ones I want revivals of, right? Keep
Fucking
going.
no.
Holes, nothing but holes.
I can't go
I
another.
swear,
I cannot go
I
another.
swear to God, I've still got. I'm not going to use it.
I can't go
for the
another
podcast
season of
stuff.
Final Space. They keep hurting me too
I've
bad.
literally still got a Final Space soundboard on my fucking phone.
Nice.
Fucking amazing.
Avocado! Gary, the fucking robot. Fuck you, Gary. Too soon.
Next question is from George Smith.
What up, George?
With Halloween the perfect time to dig out your favourite horror film, what movie made you fall in love with the horror genre? Bonus question, Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
Halloween.
Oh.
You should. I've not seen Christmas.
Yes.
No, like The Thing is a Halloween movie because it's a horror movie, but it's in the snow, so technically it could be a Christmas movie.
Well, no, it's just saying what
Die
made you
Hard
fall
is
in
a
love with
Christmas
horror, so
no,
that
no,
wins.
no. What,
You say it's in the snow, so
No,
it
no.
should be a Christmas
No.
movie. Because I'm going to watch fucking Alive then.
no, the movie.
Yeah, kid, come sit down. Look, we're going to watch this Christmas movie because it's in the snow.
The two
Afterwards,
movies,
we're going to watch fucking Scarface.
the two movies that made me fall in love with horror were Children of the Corn, that fucking cafe sequence.
Oh, okay.
With the fucking the kids, like I was like, we can do that. We can do that to our parents, okay? And American Werewolf in London. After he
Nice.
gets killed right at the beginning.
You
of
fucking
fucking
you swiped one of it. I was going to say American
It
Werewolf in
fucking-
London
it broke me.
and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, Evil Dead, Alien, The Thing, Lost Boys, House 2, the second story, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
I'm
Those
gonna
were
say,
the...
ironically, I'm going to say Nightmare on Elm Street 2 because it was
Really?
the first one I saw.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I saw them all in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, saw them all in order.
body, I've got the brain.
But yeah, one I never really was affected by. It was only 3 that I had so much fun with. And I was just like, I want to know more about this. What are these movies that I'm enjoying?
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, George. Next question is from Natalie Holbert.
What's up, Natalie?
If I gave you a time machine, what horror film would you travel back to and give yourselves a part in? It can be any part, a starring role, or an extra. Hope you are all well.
Doing a lot of time travel this week.
We are
Aren't
indeed.
we? Like,
No giant robots
Well,
back in
actually,
time.
Not yet.
Technically,
yeah.
time travel from last because this is the last podcast.
True.
Very true.
My answer is 1978's Dawn of the Dead. I'd love to be the
Nice.
role of Roger. We got
Dun,
this, man. We got this by the ass.
Do you want to die?
Well, I'm not going to die. The character will die. I was going to play the part.
Oh right. Yeah.
I just want to be that part in that film. Or I'd just, take the role of any role in Evil Dead. I just want to go and hang out with Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi and
Yeah.
watch them make a classic. I'll be a fake Shemp if needs be. Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Jennifer's body, and I'm gonna be a chair.
Nice.
If we could go back and be in a horror movie, seriously, I'd love to. Do you know what? Not be a part in, but be a part of. Is I'd love to go back to the set of The Exorcist and see if it was really as fucked up as
Everyone
was saying.
says on set, yeah.
I'd love to see that being filmed. It's just really funny to watch really young Linda Blair just being like, I get to say what now?
What am I doing with this
And then
crucifix?
shoot forward in time because she got so fucking hot in her 20s. Oh my god. So fucking hot. Google it. I'm serious.
I was gonna say The Thing, but I'm actually gonna go with Halloween.
You want to hang out with Carpenter?
No, I want you to be in the thing, but you follow all the way through the movie. You're the guy that's like, it's him now. Because you've seen it. You're like, it's him. There's a bit of conjecture online.
We should kill it, but we
We're not sure
right
about
now.
both.
Get them both right now. Man, after we came back from watching The Thing in the cinema, I got back and Halloween was on Channel 4 HD. I've seen Halloween a million times, but the fact I'm about to watch it on TV after I've watched The Thing on the big screen,
Yeah.
I was just like, let's watch this. And
That's pretty perfect storm, isn't it?
it's just, everything works so well with that camera work. Just the way that Michael's just always there. And knowing that we could just abolish every sequel, and just keep the first one as tidy as it is.
Yeah.
Or we can do whatever we want with it. It's just, Yes.
Alrighty, we got 2 questions here from Nick Louisi.
Well,
Nick.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It was carryover from Halloween
Oh,
podcast.
that's so.
Yeah.
We'll call this one, appropriately, Inapprops. What is a scene from a film or show where the music did not fit the scene depicted on screen? Prime example here would be Don't Stop Me Now by Queen during the climactic final brawl in Hardcore Henry. Or the savage beating to Duran Duran's Ordinary World in Layer Cake. This can be a comedy scene or horror scene, anything, and as much love and peace to you and your brothers.
My Own Worst Enemy by Lit in Clerks III in the hospital sequence.
Right.
That song does not match the whole sequence, and I have no idea why it's there.
Sure. My answer is Star Trek Enterprise's intro song. Where my heart will take me, faith of the heart, whatever. It was that awful country rock theme song. Like, Star Trek has this magical sci-fi sound to it. Yet when Enterprise started and it was that folk song with actual lyrics, it's just like, fucking Star Trek? What is this?
It was Serenity.
Yeah, I know a lot
ripoff.
of people got used to it because, like, after 5 seasons of listening to it, you're probably like, yeah, it's fine now. But
Yeah, right.
seriously, like, I mean, like, after 6 episodes, I could not watch another episode of Enterprise.
No.
I was already skipping the intro by then, and then I was skipping episodes, then seasons. But there's my answer for you.
Yeah, I couldn't really think. I was ironically, as I was reading the question, I was thinking about the "Don't Stop Me Now" scene. But,
From Shaun of the Dead.
yeah.
But I mean, it
I
actually
can't
fits
really
that
think-
one.
Yeah, it does. It works.
By being in
Kind of fits Hardcore Henry, but I haven't seen Hardcore Henry, so.
Hardcore Henry, I was fine with it in that one too.
Yeah, no, I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I'm going to be honest. Not one that really took me out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one like it took me out of it, but then I was just like, it's a Switchblade Romance.
Ooh.
The moment where they get in the car and chase.
Muse song is
exactly, it's the
amazing.
Muse song, and I
love
was just
that
like,
song.
the Muse song is so good, but I was like, this is just so weird for this Muse song to be such a big part of this scene.
Start Cannibal Holocaust kind of like, that's kind of fucked up.
It plays throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I have that in my head now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Sorry.
One of these
That's-
podcasts, we're going to
that's
review
my
Cannibal
answer.
Holocaust.
Yeah. Yes. February's podcast.
Next question from Nick.
Shit, we should do that. As well, yeah.
I know you got my something old last time, so now here's my something blue. Only if you guys can get time and space for it and don't need a Cenobite trophy to access it. What has been your favourite or most infamous and memorable betrayal from an entertainment source? Yes, Ian, this can and does include wrestling treachery.
Oh, yes.
Could be any betrayal, even if it's the bad guy getting betrayed by the powers of good. I'll answer this one first. I'm going to jump in with Game of Thrones. There is a ton of backstabbing and betraying in Game of Thrones, but none was so surprising to me who had not read the books as the Red Wedding. Watching at least 3 beloved characters get offed, one after the other, including a pregnant woman, was soul destroying, and it completely changed the face of the show for me going forward. It was unbelievable. And then to a later extent, Jon Snow also being betrayed by the Watch. It's just like, what? Like, really? Didn't expect it. But another one I'll throw all the way back to me. One of the first times I ever felt the betrayal in a video game was Wesker! Resident Evil 1, obviously, it took me so
Don't leave
long
this hallway until you find.
to finally beat Resident Evil 1. And like, when I finally found Wesker, like in the other part of the mansion outside, it was like, oh, he's still alive, he's still going. Like, this guy's a badass. Only for him to turn out to be the bad guy at the end. I was just like, no. I had no idea. No idea.
See, I'll since he's given us, I was trying to think of a movie then, but then since he's given us the wrestling door open,
True.
I will say absolutely my favourite one recently was when we went to Clash of the Castle, and Dominic Mysterio kicked Edge in the bollocks, and as much as they were the good guys and stuff, it was like it was bubbling a little bit that Domino was going to turn heel, and he has since turned heel. He's actually he's done actually very well.
Yeah.
If you look at everything. It's just hilarious that 60,000 people, when he kicked Edge in the bollocks, should have booed and didn't. Everyone, yeah, because we were just so
They
jacked.
just knew.
Because we were so
ready.
jacked for anything. 'Cause it's a
Yeah.
live crowd in the UK, so you can do anything and you get a pop. But I can't say being that it was a huge pop when he kicked him in the dick. And bear in mind, 10 minutes earlier, Edge had come out and we were literally like, yeah, screaming, we love Edge. My friend who I was with was in tears at the fact that he knew this was probably his last chance to ever see Edge wrestle. And the fact that Susie kicked him in his dick, we all went mental. But it was a great betrayal, and Edge sold it so perfectly. He's like, hold himself, he gives himself the fucking crotch like that, and he just looks at him as he falls. Like, he's like, why? Like, like that. So it was actually a really well done betrayal. And it went on to spawn more with, obviously, him, spoilers, turning on his dad as well, which is great.
I've got one more betrayal that has happened consecutively over a course of a series of games.
Right.
So much so that you anticipate it and would be disappointed if the betrayal did not happen. Patches from the Dark Souls games, including Elden Ring.
Is it?
Patches. Like, if you played those games,
No, I
you
thought-
know the man.
I thought you meant like patches to the game.
No.
Like,
There's
I was
a
like,
character
whenever they
called
pat my
Patches.
save,
They're like,
fuck up my save every time. The betrayal.
Patches is like, hey, look over that cliff, all that shiny down there, and you go and have a look at it, and then dumph.
Well, how many times do you do this? Because really, after the first time, this is on you for looking.
Every game.
But yeah, you'll turn up in the next game
You
and
want
you'll be
to.
like,
You want to do it.
"Oh, hey,
you want to
Patches."
fall down there and get the stuff and then come
Fair
back.
enough.
Man, betrayal wise, video game wise, oh man, anything that happened in Metal Gear Solid or the Metal Gear series, like playing any of those games, you just know
Those
everyone's
plots
going
are
to
so
betray you.
convoluted that when stuff happens, you're like, is this a betrayal? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know,
Are we,
but
are
like,
we
am
the
I working
baddies?
for you? Or are we like, am I like, movie wise, betrayal? I had one in my head just then as well.
I got another one.
What?
Wesley stealing Angel's child in season 4.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty rough.
That was pretty rough.
Oh, dude, what about in the Matrix? You know, Cypher in the
Oh,
Matrix.
yeah.
That was a
Yes.
pretty badass one. To be
Oh.
fair, that was a good one.
Do you know what was
Not like this.
Do you know what was a really good one as well? When the hand stabbed Annie Nobi in the back.
It wasn't really much of a betrayal, but
Well, it is. His hand betrayed it.
it's more of his betrayal when he turns on them and goes, "These pages mean squat." Chucks them down in the basement.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next question is from Aidan Lawrence.
Hey, Aidan.
Could you go through in detail what you think was the reason why there's so many classics made in the past? Additionally, what do you think movies today get wrong?
Studio control. Back in the past, a director would walk into the studio and say, "I've got a film," and the studio would say, "Okay, make it and make us some money." Nowadays, the director walks in and the studio goes, "Here's some money. You have to make this the way we want it."
Plus, also back in the day, there were like 8 movies made a year. So it was a bit more special. Whereas, like during this podcast, Netflix has dropped 18 new series, just
Full
while we've been
seasons.
sat here.
The whole season.
They've cancelled 5 of them, but because you were all fucking here not watching them.
You did binge watch
So
it
I think
immediately.
there is a lot to that. I love old fucking classic movies and stuff, but
Yeah.
there is a little bit of sort of like they had the advantage. There is some advantage to like coming first, right? You
Well,
know?
the thing is, like,
Yeah.
time is what makes a classic. Like, films don't come out and become a classic. So it's
absolutely.
time. So when
Yeah.
It's the time as well that it comes out. Like, for example, The Matrix dropped. It was a classic.
no, it was just
Well, it's a must
it wasn't
see.
a classic
I think it's a
on day-
difference
It was a
between
cult
Oh,
movie.
no. it was-
you get a lot of I think
It
you
was a
get a lot
classic
of buzz.
for its time, and that's what's kept it going throughout that time.
Well, it
And
was
then you were-
groundbreaking
that's-
at the time,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
That's
but
kind of where
I didn't think it was.
yeah.
I don't think classics don't happen until years past.
Well, it
That's when
depends
you
on
get to
what
look
your
back and go-
definition of classic is. So for
Something
that,
that's still relevant
you
or
got-
still
yeah,
remembered
yeah.
fondly.
Alright, okay, so for saying that, A Wonderful Life
Classic.
is a classic, but it's a classic.
But it wasn't
that
when it was
movie.
out. It was
It was this week's movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think studio controlled films, like you've said in your question, it's interesting because we kind of just talked about how there's one director that we're like, maybe you could do with a little bit more studio control. Do you know what I mean? A little
Yeah,
bit more
Just
of it.
a little bit of input.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when it's interesting that you see when you've got something, I think that there's so much source material now as well. If you think about classic movies, a lot of them were like one and dones, or they were just sort of like someone wrote this movie. Now we get so much more content that's based on something that's already existing. So the best example I can think of this is like comic book movies, to be honest. So obviously there's this huge wealth of information and lore on all these characters, and then when you try to present them, it's so funny, and we've said this many times. It's like, why is it so hard to present a character in a story that's already been written? It's like it's already done. You've already written your script. Look, it's here.
It's just
the-
modernizing it.
So
Yeah,
then
the
studio control gets a
modernisation.
worse rep, which is deserved because they're like, hey, we're spending $150 fucking million on this movie.
We need to see a
We need
return.
to know that it's going to return. So everything is micromanaged. Where
Yeah.
I would have to assume a lot of these movies back in the day didn't have that. Fucking hell, they wouldn't know what $150 million even looked
Well,
like. You know.
like you look at the old
So
classics.
the studio control is a kind of like, in some respects, it might even be a good thing to add in to like make sure we're getting on the right track. Like, say, stop movies going off in certain ways, but in others, it just clearly you can see some movies that have been ripped apart. I mean, you take the Justice League debacle, obviously, and then bringing in Weed and stuff. You can see fucking
Yeah.
what a nightmare.
you take classic, like a proper classic movie, like we said, like something like Frankenstein, something like Dracula. That was the studio saying, here we've got this idea, we've got this director, and we're going to make this movie, and that's how they make that money, and then it stays a classic. But then you get something like the Albert and Costello movies. Like I've seen a couple of them on like this black and white channel on Sky.
Meeting the Money.
And
Great.
you're like, who's controlling the script? Is it Abbott and Costello are writing it, and the studio have just given them money so that they've just got to walk around and do these silly scenes? But like then Andy said, you know, when these movies came out, it was like the one movie of the month.
Yeah, and you got to think about audience
You know.
sophistication as well.
And
Because I'm like, back in the day, you could literally look right there. You could just get Boris Karloff in some like really cool makeup and stuff,
Yeah.
and get him to do this onto the fucking screen. And now Art has to go back and get bleach and fucking salt to like shock people, for God's sake, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to shock people today.
You know, well, it has to be
Still
all
possible.
green screen. You know, it's
But yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head. I think there's a lot of studio mismanagement, poor leadership in terms of the big budget movies. I think the lack of... My biggest complaint about big mega $1 million movies these days is the poor writing. I just think there's not enough talented writers, or they're just, you know, they're burnt out. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just that thing
the
of like,
studio control.
Maybe- by
we've gone
committee.
5 pages, why is nothing blown up? Do
Ticking
put
too
that
many
in.
check
Yeah,
boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think artists are being repressed artistically. There's too many remakes and reboots right now. There's too many demographics that need to be pleased.
But it
so,
could be the wrong time, and years later they could be.
well, also, I mean,
classics.
going into this is like a whole like podcast discussion. It's
Oh,
like
absolutely.
a whole
Yeah, yeah.
essay could be
Yeah,
written
it's
on,
deep,
on this.
deep.
But overall, I would say like I think it's a difficult question to answer anyway, because I don't think classics are made immediately aware. It's only over time passes do we go, those are classics, because
It's kind of answering your question with what you've said was like, what you think is the reason there are so many classics in the past. It's like, well, because they've had enough time
Yeah, to
sort of
become that.
ferment and
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
that. Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
amazing if in like 50 years time there's like a real serious, like, you know, a Mark Kermode style, like, you know, cinema reviewer who's sort of sat there all nice and like, so today we're going to talk about the blessed classic that is Terrifier 7. You know, because like at that point people are like, hey, it's a classic and it's got to be maintained.
Man, there'll be the massive discussions about how many Sharknado movies were made. You know,
Can you do me a favour when you say Sharknado movies? Can you put movies in? Quote, unquote,
You mean
Sharknado
movies.
Yeah. Fuck me. Great question though. Don't think we could answer it with 100, like with
Right.
you know, 10 hours really. Yeah.
Okay, next question is from Jay Hines.
what
What's
up,
up, man?
Jay?
Gary, have you seen Dashcam?
Wow, what's up with you, Dashcam? What'd you do?
I don't know.
That's a new horror movie.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It is a new horror movie, and yes, Jay, unfortunately, I have seen Dashcam,
Oh,
but I have not seen the
great start to the review already.
Yes, but I have not seen the end of Dashcam because I switched it off.
Spoilers.
You didn't even
Spoilers.
skip
They
it.
denied
I did-
his claim.
Yeah, I didn't even skip scene. I just switched that shit off. It's for those of you who are not aware, it's a found footage horror movie. Of course, it's Dashcam. We follow a couple of characters. They're not very likable. There's a couple of situations that they get into,
With a dash
for me, it was one of those films that
Clearly
just
involving the car.
fell into all the tropes of found footage films, where that camera was put in a washing machine, hit spin cycle, and then it was spat out an hour and a half later with the film recorded. I just didn't gel with it. I don't know whether I was having a bad time with the film, because I'm very lenient with found footage. I know the limitations
Yeah,
of them,
you are.
but I like to see them try to do something new with it. This one didn't work for me. Sorry, Jay. I know a few people have enjoyed it, but Dashcam for me is a big old skip. Skip that one.
Skip cam.
Skip cam. Yep, right.
Fair.
And the next question is from Richie DBZ.
What up, Richie?
Going off this week's amazing reviews, my favourite Friday the 13th film is Jason X. I know it's not the best in the series
Nice.
by far, but it is my favourite. So what movie in any horror series is your favourite, even though it's not the best in that series?
Saw 5, I think it is, when he gets the police officer into the box and crushes him. No, he gets thrown into the box and the police officer gets crushed by the room. I'm like, fuck yeah, they're just killing everybody.
Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah.
The fourth Jaws movie. Probably my most rented VHS tape. growing up.
Oh, I love Jaws 4.
But the other 3 Jaws movies were never available to rent. It was only the 4th one. And so that was why I was so surprised when I'd rented the film again. Like, well, I got my dad to rent the film for me. And we had a different ending. And it was just like, wait a minute, this is different. Go rent it again. Go watch it again. It's got
got
a
it
different
wrong,
ending.
Dad. You got the wrong one.
Mario when people dies.
Yeah.
Is it in horror? Did he say in horror?
In horror, yeah. Horror franchises where it's filmed. I mean, I
get
like
a lot of heat.
Hellraiser 4.
Yeah, I get a lot of heat, but I really enjoy New Nightmare.
Oh, Boy Screamers in Number. Yeah.
I really
Turned
like that
into a
one.
bit of a classic.
Yeah,
Over time.
Over time.
Yeah.
Giant robots.
Giant robots.
Don't you think it could use one?
Feast 3.
I was going to say, have you seen Feast 3 yet, Andy?
No, but that's only because I've seen Feast 1.
Oh.
You sat through Terrifier 2 and you won't sit through Feast 1.
Yeah, but
You pussy-ass motherfucker.
No, because I did sit through
like-
Feast 1.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. But
and
no,
you should sit through
listen.
Feast 2. Feast 2 is
Should I
so...
though? Should
Yes.
Do you know what? I think I may have seen Feast 2.
With the baby, he throws the baby behind him from the monster.
Oh, do you
man.
know what? Wait. Yes, I have then, because I was thinking that was in Feast 1.
No, it's
So I
Feast
must have
2.
seen Feast 2. Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's shit. It's Feast 3 shit.
Yeah.
We got another question as well from Richie. No question this time. Bit of a personal one, if that's okay.
Okay.
What is your go-to thing to do when you feel like everything is against you and you start to feel overwhelmed by it?
My dick.
A
I
giant robot?
beat you by a second, didn't I?
I was like, I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it. I said it. I was like, wait, he said it now.
I'm kidding.
Carry on. What was he saying? If you
Sorry,
wouldn't have
Richie.
bad time, Sorry, Richie.
For me, as I told Gary in a stream, is listening to your reviews, podcasts, and live streams. They've helped me out so much, so thank you. That's awesome, Richie. Anything
Yeah,
that we
man.
can do
Good to hear.
to help, you know,
Man,
you're having a really
I-
bad day is awesome to hear. But, like, we are human too, the 3 of us, and we all have
Well,
really shitty days too.
Sorry, I'm still a god. I have been
He's
for
deluded,
like
but
40 odd
we
years.
allow
Like,
this.
I heard you fucking wheeze coming up this Calm,
like you,
calm your tits.
see now, I have obviously thought about this quite a lot, and I would always say motivation is always the biggest key. The moment you really start to think about everything, you can just not ever get out of bed ever, and that's it. Where if you always just
Sounds
think,
glorious.
you know,
So tired.
you know, if you think, right, okay, this is like what I'd like to do, you know, you have to set a goal and just kind of go for it. And there's going to be shit dropped in your path. That's what life does. The world could blow up tomorrow. What the fuck you can do? Or jack off, like endorphins in the brain. That's what it does. Eat chocolate. Watch movies. I hear Taika Waititi.
Try not doing it at the same time.
Right.
What? Jack off and eat chocolate?
Yeah. I mean, women
don't wanna
say,
get
women
views
say
on
we
it at
can't
one point.
multitask. You know, shows what you know. I can eat pork pie. Do you know what? I really a few real easy go-tos. I agree with you when you say about the motivation one. Sometimes it's worth just stopping for a minute and taking stock. Not even having to do anything, because sometimes I will sort of like be sat at home, you know, the kids in bed, Donna's in bed, and I'm just chilled and stuff, and I'm maybe having a glass of wine, and
Or two.
it's just a bottle.
Or the bottle, yeah.
But I will tend to just, it sounds really funny, but I'll just be sat in my house, and I really love my house
Yeah.
because it's mine, I own it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, shit,
This
I
is
ain't done
life.
bad.
Yeah.
Working
Life.
class kid makes good, you know, so that's what I mean. But failing that, just get under a bench, yeah, and just put, in a gym preferably, just get on a fucking bench, get under a bar, and just lift the fucking bitch. That is
not a
an
bar.
easy go-to. Yeah, not that bar.
Not that
yeah.
bar.
Just doesn't have to be heavy. Just put some weight on and just do. So I'll work out. I'll take the dog for a really long walk.
And remember
I
to
love doing that.
reward yourself. Like, you've got to
Yeah.
remember, if you've been working fucking continuously, you can stop every now and again and get yourself a reward. You know,
It's
if
very
you don't,
true.
if you sit there and go, what was the last nice thing I did for myself, which actually I did, like, even if that is eating a tub of ice cream in a day and watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy back to back.
Sounds great.
Like,
Sometimes you need those days.
you need
Yeah.
those fucking days. You know, I saw a fucking video saying, I saw a video only a couple of hours ago on my Facebook. You know,
Video.
you get lost on those
Is it
fucking
pornography?
you get lost on those fucking Facebook quick videos, don't you? You see.
Oh
where
yeah, you just
click
fall
on
down
it,
the
right?
well easy, don't you? Yeah.
Anyway, after about 4 flicks, and I should have just got up and got my shoes, I got to one where it was Macho Man Randy Savage on, I believe it's the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah, I remember that
from the
interview, yeah.
90s. And the host asked him if Macho Man Randy Savage ever cried. And he just cuts this whole promo with the, oh yeah, I've cried a million times, I've cried here, I've cried there. You know, you just gotta keep getting back up again. You just gotta keep getting back. Oh yeah. And I was like, man, that's fucking Macho Man telling me to get up. Just get up. Okay, I'm gone, man.
I think he may have had some other motivation to cut that promo. But still, yeah.
Hey,
It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit.
Yep.
And keep getting back up. Yeah. I know, yeah, when I'm in those days, it's either a movie, it's going to be something like Evil Dead 2 for me. Whenever I'm having a real bad day, I'm just feeling like life is shit,
Bobby Joe.
I'll watch Evil Dead 2 because I'm like, man,
Load up Grand Theft Auto 5.
not as bad
Punch
as
a
that.
stranger.
It's not as bad as that day. But yeah, otherwise it's music. You know, music's the gateway to the soul. Music can you can put you in the wavelength of what you're listening to. So yeah, if you're having a really bad day, shitty day, yeah, you can put on some freaking Limp Bizkit. I don't know, some Disturbed.
Yeah.
I don't know, something Rammstein, and just like get all the anger out. Or you can put something chill on and try to get your mindset in a different state of mind.
If you're having a bad day, watch Whiplash. Your day
Because
is
your day ain't that bad.
it's not that bad. And the music, like,
But yeah, hang in there though, Richie. Things will be all right, dude.
Yeah,
Things will be
man.
all right.
Totally.
Alrighty, next question is from Solza.
what up, Sosa?
You touched on it briefly, how Smile was to be on Paramount Plus before being changed and released in the cinema. How do you feel about streaming and its impact on the cinema? Will it change things in the future? It's a really hard one to gauge, I think, Solza, because we're living in it. We've watched the weird transition already. Excuse me. As like, I don't have a DVD drive anymore. I packed away my DVD player. People have moved into Blu-rays, but even now, people are mainly streaming or buying digitally now. So the cinema, the death of the cinema, we've seen happen time and time again. Then Avatar came out and like 3D revolution all over again. People thought it was like the first major wave of 3D. It was like the third. Now
Less
superhero
peaky.
movies are literally one of the reasons the cinemas are still alive, because people want the next big Marvel DC movie on the big screen.
It's the big impact as well on climate change as well. I mean, all the plastic that you can not use if you're not making DVDs, VHS tapes, fucking laser discs,
Yeah.
Laser
UMDs.
discs.
Man, well,
We stopped making them a while ago,
Yeah,
mate.
but we went through them. I have, like I said, through my 40 years, have seen the production of TV develop to the point.
Yeah, you've kept it all. It's in that fucking dining room of yours, mate.
I'm glad I
was going
did.
through your
because when I
VHS
was-
the other day.
When I was a
"Holy shit,
kid, I was a
mate."
motherfucking kid looking at TV saying, man, this is the greatest fucking thing ever. I want to be fucking in on this. I want to be involved in this. And I had everybody around me saying, TV's fucking bad for you. It's never going to go anywhere. You need to go out and get a fucking job, work in the fucking coal mines and all that fucking shit. And then years later...
I was telling you to work in coal mines.
Hey, man, fucking...
When have you ever seen a piece of coal?
Came back for fucking hard time. But it just developed. We had Blu-rays, we had HDs, we had fucking, 4K. It's like, develop your home cinema so it's as good as the fucking cinema. But go to the cinema, because if you don't go to the cinema, we can't keep making movies. Studio involvement should be a good thing, but then let the directors do what the fuck they want. But don't let them do it on their own, because when they release the DVD, it's going to have like 10 hours of extra fucking footage that you didn't have in the fucking movie, and you realise that it shouldn't have been in the fucking movie, because the movie was fucking 3 hours fucking long anyway, and you stopped it halfway through and you wikied it.
I can't wait to get the Blu-ray of Top Gun Maverick so I can watch 60 hours of Tom Cruise learning to fly.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that.
Strap in, babe. We're gonna be here for a while.
It's the thing I've always said about streaming. Like, when's Netflix going to show me the deleted scenes, the commentaries, the making ofs? Like, I need these special features. I used to
making
buy
it anymore.
DVDs and Blu-rays
Well,
just
they
for audio
are.
Just as
commentaries.
They are, but they're waiting until they can make it into an entire documentary.
No, they're
Right.
not, because they're knocking them out as quickly as they can, as good as they can. Like, you want to see the bloopers and fucking behind the scenes shit of like.
I'd go to
House of-
YouTube for this stuff now.
House of Dragons, right?
Yeah.
all the stuff with Game of Thrones. They didn't make it because the writers didn't care. They were just fucking, let's just knock out the next series. And
it's different from show to show because, like, for instance, The Walking Dead, they've been filming behind the scenes stuff since day one and still are.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you stream wise, the features aren't there.
If you've got, you know, some films and series find their audience on home release, don't they? So sometimes you do get it where they fill it.
So for me, once all those special features and things are there on streaming sites, then for me, then the physical media is done. However, like we talked earlier about the Evil Dead game, like I own all the other Evil Dead games and I own this newest one digitally, but there's a part of me is like, I want a physical version of this game.
You haven't got a physical version of the new game?
No, I don't. Only digitally. So it's like I want it to go in my collection. I don't hoard, you know, special editions like I used to anymore. But sometimes there's something where I'm like, I have a sentimental connection with this franchise or this product, like Plague Tale Requiem, the second game. When I finished the game, I was like, oh man, I really want to buy a figurine or a model of one of these characters. And I looked up and I was like, the special edition of the game came with a model of the two characters. And I was like, oh great, I'll see if I can find one. None left to buy. And I was just like, damn it, like, it makes it really hard. So yeah, like for some things, yes, and but I think in the future, everything will be digital in far future.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah,
you will. I know. I've foreseen this. I've foreseen it in the warp. You're gonna be able to download to yourself, Matrix style, the movies you want to watch.
Yeah.
You won't actually, go to the cinema.
Special features and all.
Yeah, you just plug it in.
Yep. They'll all be part of the Matrix.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Ah, sweet. That's great.
Why did they stop fighting when he found out his mum was called Martha? What the fuck? Did I get this out?
Why did you say that name?
But yeah, I do think it's interesting though that like Smile though, they went, this is for the small screen, and they went, no, it's not, it's for the big screen, and then massive success.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to what they gauge is small screen versus big screen these days. And it would seem like they're not sure themselves. Alright, next question is from Han Solo iMac.
What up, Han Solo?
Hey guys, if you could fly around the galaxy in any spaceship from any movie or TV series, which ship would it be? Love all your content, by the way. Cheers.
I hate the idea of being in space. What's the fastest fucking ship to get me back? The fucking Mass Effect.
No, because you have
the Normandy.
But if the Mass Effect drive things are gone, there's no more.
Oh, it does say movie or TV series. Sorry. Which ship would it be?
Ludicrous speed from
yeah, man, good shout.
Yeah.
Being in space fucking terrifies me. Have you seen any of these films?
Yeah. For some
None
reason,
of the fast ships are fucking good to be on.
As soon as he said ships, I could think of a million ships for the first one.
The Event Horizon. Oh yeah. Safest houses on that one.
I'm thinking that snail thing from Battle Beyond the Stars.
What's the one
guns on the front,
that
like
Fry rides in Futurama, like the wind-up one, and he sits there with Nibbler on him? That'd be fucking me. Just like, get me the fuck home now.
The Serenity would be a pretty cool ship to fly around in.
She warp jumps, doesn't she? Does she? Yeah, she does warp jump. Yeah, the engine pops up. I mean, the Galactica is too big for you to run on your own.
I'm just gonna say, the Enterprise, because at least they got a holodeck to keep me on entertained or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, hell yeah. If I'm gonna cruise around space, I want to be in the modern Enterprise.
But have you got a crew? Do you share it with people, or are you gonna be super fucking lazy?
Listen, mate, if you told me I was flying, no, fuck that. I love Red Dwarf, but I'd kill all those people within like a week, mate. If you told me like you're fucking going away for this long or something, you got to fly around the bloody whatever, I'd be like, oh,
the Red Dwarf is slow as hell.
Oh my god, mate, I'd be like,
Starbug would be better off in there.
Yeah, I'd be like, don't fucking bother me. I'm going to the holodeck. Fucking call me when we get home. See me bad enough on like a flight to Turkey with a family or something. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, everyone on this plane. I don't want to fucking talk to anyone.
That's a sore subject. Let's try and question sore.
The ship from Final Space, Hugh's always making cookies.
Oh my god. Yeah, but you can't have any.
I know, unless you can go.
Yes, I'm touching the cookie. So fucking good.
Next question is from Descent.
What up, Descent?
How would you guys rewrite Halloween Ends?
With an eraser.
Well, I mean, that erases what's there, but then you have to fill it in.
Okay, all jokes aside, just keep the theme going of it's the same fucking night for a start. Let's cut this 4 fucking year jump out.
Agreed.
Sorry, but let's just
Absolutely
get rid
agreed.
of Corey and basically fucking Laurie just picks up a freaking machete from the end of the last movie when her granddaughter's safe, and she's literally like, this motherfucker killed my
daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, evil does die tonight, and it's a fucking 90-minute fight. Like, if you times Freddy versus Jason by they start fighting 45 minutes into that and don't stop until the fucking film ends. 10 minutes of exposition. Like, did we all watch the last one? Great. And she just goes at him for fucking 90 minutes. Credits. And they both die, by the way. Fuck it.
Yeah,
They both fall into the meteorite.
That's where I would do it.
But I would seriously delete that fucking 4-year jump. It's just stupid.
The 4-year jump is absolutely stupid. The only way, if we were going to keep the 4-year jump, they would have to have him and her face same night, like you said, right? But have them meet up and the cops just fucking blast the fuck out of him. That's where he's his wounds. He's falling down a mine shaft into the pipe. He crawls in there and he's fucking wounded. Then we get that fucking shit if we wanted to draw it with Corey. Then we have fucking Corey's involvement, but. It's not that Corey is evil. Corey actually finds Michael and takes Laurie back down there. And they fight. And that's where Michael kills...
For 90 minutes.
No. Michael kills Laurie down there. And it's the granddaughter that fucking kills Michael. And it's fucking Corey and her at the end. And it's kind of a bit of a happy ending.
Or how about Laurie... goes to find Michael and he's not there, and she spends a bit of time trying to find him, eventually finds him in the sewer, sees he's broken, badly beaten up old man.
So same night?
And she makes him a cup of tea. She sits down next to him.
Writes her memoirs.
And she writes her memoirs.
Right.
And they play chess.
Fucking hell.
What? What are you, like...
She nurtures him back to health.
Like a baby bird.
Yeah, like a baby bird. And sets him out next Halloween.
Man. Yeah.
I don't know, like
Ash just
I
rocks
keep
up
saying
and
is
just blats him with a
this
fucking
Halloween
broomstick.
reboot did not need 2 frickin' sequels.
It
The
didn't.
Halloween
Not.
2018 is a really solid
It is,
Halloween entry.
I would
that
watch Halloween,
doesn't end.
Halloween 2,
It just-
and
they-
Halloween 2018, and take that as a nice little trilogy.
Yeah, it just
Wait,
did not need.
Halloween 2, 1981.
Yeah.
No, he fucking burns in that one. He's fucking burned.
No, it follows.
What?
Yeah. The
They
hospital.
follow it on, don't
The
they?
hospital sequence, mate. You watch it again.
In Halloween 2, he blows up
fucking
in a fireball.
burns.
Yes.
Oh,
He
yeah.
burns.
I had it in my head.
Halloween 1, though.
But that also
killed.
killed Loomis until he's not dead in the third one, the fourth one as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go. 1 in 2018 then. Done.
H2O is pretty damn good now.
Yeah, H2O is also pretty good if you go 1 to 2
but then
H2O.
going with H2O, Resurrection is pretty damn
The
good.
problem with H2O
Hey,
is...
Sack
No,
off.
stop it, stop,
the
stop.
absolute-
Hey,
the
stop
problem-
smoking weed.
Dude, the problem with H2O is her fucking would-be boyfriend, like 9 times while she's like staring at what she thinks might be Michael, rocks up to her like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like fucking out of nowhere. She's,
Fucking Ashton Kutcher.
and I'm like, "Bitch, why don't you ever see him coming?"
90s Michael Myers. Love her.
We do have a question from Mitch, but it just says Stargate reboot. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Mongo, Mitch, if you're still there.
Okay,
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Because I've never watched Stargate all the way through. I love the film. Kurt Russell, fucking.
Oh, he says he
amazing.
wrote it by
Kurt
mistake.
motherfucking Russell.
Oh.
Sorry.
That is currently our last question, though. So if any of you guys in the chat right now do have a question, you want to get it in now.
Yeah.
Now is the chance to do so. But yeah, like Stargate. If we're just going to talk briefly
Yeah,
about
fuck it.
Stargate.
Yeah, let's do it. Good question. Free question, dude.
wasn't the biggest fan of the movie. I thought it was a bit of a bore fest. And then when the
motherfucking
TV
Russell.
series came, yeah, I know. I love Kurt Russell, but I was like, I thought he was underused and boring in that.
He had as
Well,
many
totally,
lines
they were-
in that movie as he did in Soldier.
They were
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
yeah, but they were trying to establish
The
a
same
franchise.
haircut.
I know they were, but I think they failed to do it in that film, which is why I'm always surprised that everyone really liked Stargate. I was like, did we watch the same movie?
Do you know, I gotta be honest, I remember watching that movie and just being really kind of like unimpressed by
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
As in,
So
after
flat.
the initial fucking, the chevrons are locking.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, that's
this
all
is
great.
fucking cool. Now it's a bit shit.
Yeah. And
Now
so,
nothing's happening.
sadly,
Literally nothing's
I
happening.
never got into the myriad of
Yeah, I didn't
Stargate
watch the
shows
fucking-
either. I have no idea what's going on there.
The TV series, like I'll agree, I never really got into because I love the film and the fact they didn't bring Kurt Russell back for the TV series. I was
Kratos
like,
is in it,
fuck
then.
this. But Linda started watching it, and I would come in every now and again, and it's honestly, you watch it now, it's like watching classic Star Trek, because the special effects are fucking dated, the character storylines are fucking so obvious, but it's just so easy to watch. If they reboot it, then you're modernizing it to a point, but yeah, like do you take the focus away from the Stargate again? Because there's a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could argue that it could totally support a series because you can travel anywhere in the galaxy, which makes it.
But only
simple.
with a Stargate.
And only
Other places with Stargate.
Was it only if it was ancient Egypt by any chance?
No, you do go to other planets. But as the series develops, that actually turns out. So the Egyptian guys in Stargate, what are they called? They'll tell me in the chat at some point. The guys in the Stargate movie, they actually don't own the Stargates. The Stargates were actually put there by a whole other race, and it's the Goa'uld.
Well, like
sorry,
said,
the Goa'uld.
Like
they're
I said,
the ones who just
you
happen
can
to
do a
use
lot with
to
it. I just didn't
try
find
to
it very.
imprison
Like,
the rest
I
of the
didn't find
world.
that they did.
And there's like system lords that cover multiple systems, and there's a whole other extra directory. Massive nerd.
Well, we got a question here from DMC Campbell.
What up, Camo?
What up?
Are you guys in favor of a third Resident Evil reboot? Third time lucky?
Well, it looks like they're actually bothering with. Look, 3 was like a very fucking rush job. Wasn't it? You had
No,
two...
not games, like the movies. We've had one series of movies, then a second reboot.
Sorry, I assumed you meant
Yeah.
because of the new one that's coming out for 4, you know.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Fuck no then.
No.
Give me more Resident Evil shiteness. I will criticize
Gobble
it.
it up,
end.
won't you?
Yes,
Like a
I'll gobble
greedy
it all
little
up.
boy.
I'll,
No,
I'll
I'm
wear
done.
my Resident Evil t-shirt.
I'm fucking done. Give me some more games.
Well, yeah.
That's clearly where the good stories are.
I want to say I don't want to watch anymore, but if there's something dropped, I'll be
You're
like,
gonna fucking buy it, ain't you?
oh, probably, man. I bought Code Veronica for the PS2.
Sweet.
I've
That's
got,
a good.
like,
That's
what-
a good thing.
Yeah, but I also bought.
I'm gonna do the monkey paw thing now because you're gonna tell me you bought.
I bought Resident Evil 4 for the Switch as well.
That's bad.
Now I own 1, 2, 3,
No, I'm kidding.
4, and Code Veronica. All
Sweet
the
man.
consoles.
That's awesome. I fucking love 4.
Descent says, have you ever had any weird horror dreams involving any of the horror icons?
Dude, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 6. For the next 6 to 7 years, Freddy tormented me.
Oh,
So,
no.
Yeah, dude, fucking loads.
Of all the horror icons, the only one I've had a nightmare of is the Blob. And that was absolutely horrifying. I think, like, the Blob is just incredibly frightening. Like, unlike the Thing, where, you know, it's hidden amongst your person sat next to you. With the Blob, it's like, it's just that, it's a blob. It's shapeless and formless. It's just, it stretches, it's a moving ball of acid. And depending on the size of it is how quick you get consumed by it. And so, yeah, in my nightmare, I woke up mid-consumption.
Oh.
Absolutely,
Gross.
yeah, you know, cold sweat, horrible, absolutely nightmarish.
I've had a few dreams after watching It the first time with Tim Curry.
Pennywise, yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
Pennywise the clown. I was just like, yeah,
Scary motherfucker?
That was a scary ass motherfucker.
No.
Same person, and another question. Do you guys have any plans to grow the channel? I love you guys, and you have some of the best reviews out there. So I was wondering how you would divide and conquer. Man, we are running at like 100% of what we're capable of doing. Because the
cliche, but fucking like, share, and subscribe. Literally.
Yeah,
share
like
everything, dude.
obviously we're 10 years nearly. We're getting up to 40,000 subscribers. It's slow going compared
Like,
to some channels. but
I'll go out there and
growth.
say, like, you know, people say, how do you grow a channel? You do, because humans are fickle and will pick up shit and drop it at the fucking flick of a coin. You know, so we've been going at it for 10 years, and we wanted to do certain things and haven't had the time or the budget, and wanted to do other things, but only were able to do it from a certain angle. And we were able to grow at a point where I've always said it's just been really natural. You know,
yeah, organic. Yeah.
yeah, if we wanted to go, like, I've never seen Gary go full PewDiePie, you know, and
He's
like,
never gone full Gary before.
yeah, and I know I can swear, but like, I'm no Angry Joe or angry video game nerd. You know, it's just like, we just do what we do and we wing it. And we see what happens. And if it sticks, it sticks. Like some of the reviews that have gone up recently. You know, Whiplash is a really good film, but people would rather talk about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah, I can see that though. Like, as a horror fan, I'd rather watch someone review Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah.
And the entire franchise. I hate it when they don't finish franchises.
Yeah, but then...
I'd unsubscribe from them.
But then, like, you want to do, like we just said with questions, we want to do more classic movies, but then you get certain niches that become certain things, and...
You're waiting for them to become classics, aren't you? Over time.
Yes.
I'm fucking 40, everything's a fucking classic at this
You're a
point.
classic
I'm
now,
a fucking classic
I'm
now.
telling you, man, we're just leveling up.
My
Don't worry
knees
about
are
it.
fucking going and shit, I've got fucking elbows and shit.
But in terms of growing the channel, like, it's really hard for us to, like, the Halloween, like, that 1 month of the year where we do double duty, essentially, like, it is like 2 months
in
of work way in
Yeah.
advance to get to that. And when we get to it, we're done. We're like, that we can't, like, it's impossible to keep up that momentum, you know. And like, I don't want to draw a parallel, but we started Off the Shelf Reviews pretty much the same month as Red Letter Media started their Half in the Bag, you know, shows, which is just like bi-weekly. It was almost weekly, but sometimes they'll go 3 weeks without a video, and I'm like, those motherfuckers are editing.
Yeah.
You know, they film
Yeah.
stuff, but they're editing, and
Yeah. And their characters as well. Like, I've actually never watched Red Letter Media. Everybody talks about them.
they're not characters; they're themselves.
Well,
They are themselves. Like, they like, Mike doesn't have the energy to. I mean, he plays Mr. Plinkett, but that's a separate video series,
well, yeah, but then there's the same with like
and
James.
that's like one
was it
video
James Rolfe
every
as
3
well.
years.
You know, he you know, they are themselves on this camera, and then they've got to edit themselves because they don't want to come across a particular way.
Well,
by
yeah.
saying
I
certain
mean, that's kind of the
things.
niche because, like,
You know, it's
James Rolfe, he has a Cinemassacre film reviews, but he doesn't do them in AVGN mode, does
Yeah.
he? So yeah, I do find that those that put on a shtick or a persona have the ones that are floundered, whereas obviously we've just been us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more relatable.
Hey,
hopefully.
it's not about quantity anyway. It's about quality. So
Yes.
you know,
you try making a fucking
you got
conversation.
40,000 good fucking subscribers, man.
Hell yeah, we do. You guys are
Mysterious skin
awesome
and
for sticking with us
About
too.
the, sometimes it's about the community.
Yeah. Well, that's an awesome and wonderfully wholesome way to end the podcast.
Like
I think.
Clerks 3, bitches. Wholesome.
Kinda.
I cried at the end of that
Agree,
movie.
kinda.
I ruined it.
With that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you did ask a question and it's not popped up in this podcast, please feel free to save it for the next one, the last one of the year. It'll be our Christmas one. I also do apologize if your question didn't come up. It may have been accidentally deleted, or you may have already asked a question that somebody else had asked before you, and they were so similar, you know, there was no point in us answering the question twice. So hopefully we will see your questions, though, in the next podcast. So with that being said, thank you, Iain and Andy, for 50 awesome podcasts.
Fucking pleasure,
Thank
guys.
you, everyone,
Absolute pleasure.
for tuning in. It really does mean so much. So you can find the new film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Love your faces.
All right. Did I hit the record button at the start of that? I did.
50 shows in, same thing. Every fucking week.
Every week.
Still always get so nervous.
Yeah.
Right. I'll let you
That
guys
speaks
just...
volumes about Audacity and the quality of like program that it is. Like,
Yeah.
will it?
You're still using Audacity?
I know, right? It's an easy edit.
It is. Kinda. Right. We can...
hear you, but we can't see you.
Really? You should be
Yeah.
able to still see us. We're still here, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Demonic Grim, thank you for returning those videotapes, dude. Glad to see you. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream.
Yeah, thanks
It's good to see you as well, Jay.
staying.
No worries, you got here late, man. This video will eventually be going up on YouTube. Maybe Monday. Maybe Monday.
Maybe Monday. Maybe Tuesday.
Maybe Tuesday, depending on how the edit goes.
I was trying to think of how the song goes. Though.
Can't fucking possibly be worse. To the, like, the
what
last
film
ones, you
review
know what I
should
mean?
we drop
Right.
next week? Got to drop you something good, I suppose. Should have a film review ready, I suppose.
Cheers, Mitch.
I'm
Saying
just
Gary and Ian, I'd like to say thank you for everything you've done for this YouTube and Twitch streams. Have really made my life very fun watching and listening to you guys ever since my mum passed away. You guys have been the best, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome,
man.
Mitch. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, dude. No worries, Han Solo. Well, we are going to go on a raid. Now, we just hit our 50th podcast, but
Right.
somebody here on Twitch just hit their 40th birthday.
Oh no, I smell salt in the air. It tastes salt in the back of
We're
my mouth.
going to go and say hello to Black Magic, who is probably a little bit tipsy, a little bit drunk, and probably
Oh,
singing
dear.
some karaoke right now.
Yeah.
So, let's go listen in to some karaoke. Drop some fist bumps when you get in there. Let Black Magic know where you came from. And let's get this raid underway. No, it's not showing yet.
Raidy raids.
Not yet. There we
you
go. Alrighty, so that raid is going underway now. Looks like he's singing Bugsy
Buckle
Malone.
up, boneheads, because
Fuck
you're in
yeah.
for a ride. What's he singing?
Classic.
I'm
Bugsy
not
Malone
sure.
soundtrack.
Bugsy Malone soundtrack.
Well, he's not actually playing anything yet. I think we might get in just before the song starts.
That's fucking class.
Yeah, I know, man. It's just, well, I'm making the face you make when I dance
Have
to
an
you, motherfucker.
awesome kick-ass weekend, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Peace.